I feel had some infidelities. The real estate inside my head you took is never coming back, but you said that it wasn't personal. And every time you lied to me, it's like I didn't want to see, cause I thought you were beautiful, and beauty doesn't want to be mischievous and devious and set a fire unto us, but you were never beautiful at all. I wasn't fine to begin with, walked out those lines to begin with, but you forced me to work on myself because you put me through hell. I guess I should thank you for that. I'm okay.
Well, here we are in Lanzarote, another beautiful morning here in Puerto Calero. It's the big finale, the Super Saturday Showdown. Not so much of a showdown really, because the big lead that Platoon Aviation have, they should be able to close out their fourth Royal Cup. Meantime, also Preveza on the podium, also Crioula. Now, Crioula missed out in the podium in their first year in 2024 when Platoon Aviation won the Royal Cup in Valencia. Can they get on the podium for the first time? So it's going to be a great day on the water. We caught up with Don Cowie. Now, we all know that Sled had a force-day issue yesterday. The boat builders have been working all night. Good news is they're ready to go, and we caught up with Don Cowie. So, Don, a long night for the lads, but you're in business?
Yeah, the shore crew guys, Tom and Ben and Joel and Ash did a all-nighter basically, and glued the front of the boat back together, and we've been talking to Southern Spars in New Zealand about the rig loads the shock loadings that went through the rig, and we're pretty confident that we're okay. We'll have to be a little bit gentle, I think, but we'll be back on the water.
And the actual part that broke is repaired, or what did you do?
No, luckily Alpha Plus, they had just brought a new four-stay ram, and so we've borrowed their old one, so a bit of nice team cooperation.
So how do you feel this morning?
We need to get out there and have a good day. Yeah, we won't be holding back. We've got to pull some points back on Platoon. We were having a good race yesterday afternoon, unfortunately when the four-stay ram failed, but we'll get back out there.
So that's Don Cowie looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as usual. Now Ben, the boat builder, is not quite so bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, a little bit red-eyed, but this is Ben. Give us a lowdown on what they did last night. So tell me about your night, how was it?
Long. It was long, had to fix the forestay trough. Basically had to laminate, put T-plate on there and laminate both sides. Didn't do the job that I'll be proud of in a workshop, but got it done so the boys can get out there today.
How do you feel then? You've not been to sleep yet?
I feel not too great. I'm really ready for bed.
And how was it? Who was working? What were you doing?
It was just me and one other young fella, and we're just laminating and gluing stuff and trying to make the most of it.
I mean, obviously it's not something you want to happen, but nice to have a challenge in your career.
Yeah, it is nice, but I'd prefer not to have that stuff happen, but the boys do such a good job at sailing the boat, so the best thing we can do is provide them with a good quality boat, but in this state just provide them with a boat so they can get out there and get the points that they need for the season.
So great to catch up with Ben from the boat building team. He deserves a little bit of sleep now, but he's going to be wanting to watch and see how the team get on. Now then, Crioula on the podium at the moment. They're super chilled. Really a team that have been together for so many years. They really win and lose together, but they've just missed out in the podium before. We caught up with Ricardo, the navigator who's been with the team for 3 years. And this is Ricardo. What's been going right then this week? You're on the podium at the moment.
Well, this week it's been fantastic. It's been like a wonderful time and weather. The boat is performing very well, much more what we expected really. So we are having fun, and we hope that today we can keep going. And let's see. It's been amazing this week how everybody's together, and you can go from first to last in a second. So let's see. It's going to be a nice day, I hope.
Are you excited?
We are excited. I am excited. The forecast today, I think it's going to be similar than yesterday. We performing well with these kind of strong winds. So let's see. It's fun.
Why do you think you perform well in the strong winds?
I don't know. We like the strong winds. We like, especially in the runs. I don't know. I think everybody, of course, here in this fleet, everybody goes very well in all the conditions. But we are feeling good with the boat. That's the important thing, I think.
You've had a very settled team, haven't you? You've not made any changes.
Yes, to be honest, this team, I'm one of the youngest guy in this team, and I'm like 3 or 4 years in the team. We are like a family. It's everybody together, the same crew, very few changes. I think maybe this year only one change. So it's been, the core of this group has been together more than 15 years. So it's been interesting. It's different.
What about the Vrolic boat? It's strong, good in the strong winds?
It is good on the strong winds. We are very curious. We know that it's different than most of these boats here, but I think it's a bit different than the boating boats. I don't know why, but maybe on the shape of the bow of the boat. I don't know, but it feels good. It seems fast. Sometimes we feel that we are the responsibles to not allowing the boat to go forward. So no, it's a fast boat.
And you seem to always have a plan. You like to start on the pin a lot of the time.
We do. We try to not get in trouble. We try to. If we believe that the left it's the one to go, okay, let's go for that. We know sometimes that it's not the favor. The race committee is the best to go, but sometimes it's better to go for the third place than to try the first and be the last, you know. So that's a little bit of what we are thinking, and go to try to go up on the chart more in front of the race. Go one by one and see the result.
Good, and give us a little bit more detail about the weather today. What are we expecting?
Today we are expecting quite similar than yesterday on the strength, a little bit more to the right maybe. So I don't know, maybe it might be a little bit more choppy, all that, the waves. Let's see. That's the forecast that we have.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You guys. Bye.
And at the top of the table, well, it is Platoon Aviation. We caught up with the trimmer, Javier de la Plaza, who gave us an insight. Everything just going to keep things going exactly as they have so far. Nothing changes for the Platoon Aviation as they try to close out their 4th Royal Cup. So how do we feel today?
We feel very well. We sell Regatta because we have had like 6 more days for sailing for win the season. And in this class, you know, one bad day is 20 points. We sell very well, and we make the same.
Today is just the same?
No, a little, the forecast is a little lighter, but the same safety, tacks, jibes, the same.
You excited? Nervous?
No, not too much. Really? No, not too much. No, we are very focused, and we sail very well, and we need to make regatta, safety than safety, and fast than win, fast as win.
And good start.
And very nice start, always, yeah. We try.
Well done, thank you. And as a special treat, a little catch up with Katie on board the Palm Beach 65. Great platform that we're using for our VIP guests this year. Here's Katie and I. So Katie, we've got 3 teams bidding for the podium, as it were. We've got Platoon Aviation with a big lead, then it's quite close between Provezza and Crioula. What do they all have to do today?
I think they're going to be coming out with the bit between their teeth. I think they're very much all going to be, I think points are relatively tight amongst most of the fleet. Platoon obviously got that bit of that lead, so they're going to be going out and trying to keep everything pretty simple, not make any big mistakes, especially in the bigger breeze. Crioula probably do what they normally do, keep things super simple, really chilled out. It's kind of chilled out watching them racing. they're a pretty relaxed style of racing. They've got what they like to do. They've got their strategies they like, and they'll stick to that. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting day. Lots of different ways of approaching the day, and I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice to see Preveza up there.
Yeah, really nice seeing Preveza back up there. I think they've really found another gear this regatta. They've really found their form, and it's really cool to watch. And I really hope that they can finish it off. And I think, yeah, having Platoon and Preveza, both teams that were struggling at the start of the season and last season, having them back up there, really battling out for the top, is really cool.
What do you think about our boat here?
It's a beautiful boat. I actually went on it last event, went for a wing and had a bit of an issue, and I got the luxury of coming back in on the back of the boat, and it's a beautiful boat. It's a lovely place to be.
Great, have a good day, Katie.
Thank you.
So that's our morning chit chat with Katie. Let's look back at the highlights from yesterday. Windy morning, going to see 22, 25 knots on the racecourse. Still shifty, still streaky, big challenges. Let's go racing. So race 7 much breezier than we've seen so far here in Puerto Calero, 22 knots average over the course of race number 7 off the start line. It's a very even start, interesting, very down speed start, everybody trying to hold position and wait as late as possible to pull the pin and accelerate quite close to the line. That makes a very, very difficult start, but Alegre at the boat end of the line, Platoon at the boat also, Sled in the middle of the line, Platoon get a really good acceleration, Patrick and Alkedo both over the start line have to recross. Platoon Aviation extend up the first beat, get really nicely into phase with the strands of breeze and the pressure. Round the top mark, it's Platoon Aviation with a nice little lead. No way back, and Preveza, Crioula and Sled all close behind. Platoon Aviation extend down the first run and lead all the way round the course. Sled get up to second. Through the finish line, a comfortable win, really nice sailing for Platoon Aviation. Through in second are Sled, third No Way Back, fourth the Crioula who passed Preveza on the run. Preveza get fifth, and so Platoon Aviation are 11 points clear at the top of the table. So race number 8, similar conditions once again. The fleet slowed to the line, trying to build speed as late as possible, and it's all about positioning and speed. Acceleration off the line. Actually Alpha Plus get a good start. Patrick are pulling the fleet forward early on, but Alpha Plus go well off the line, so too do Platoon Aviation. But Crioula go out to the left and profit. They come round the top mark, leading with Patrick second, Platoon Aviation in third, Alpha Plus in fourth, Vayu in fifth. Then Patrick then move out to the left, get some better pressure coming down the first run, and they lead through the leeward gate almost alongside Crioula. Vayu are third, Platoon Aviation in fourth. Down the final run, Patrick are going nicely with Crioula not far behind. Gladiator make a nice move down the left, but they managed to sail deeper on both jibes. So through the finish line, it's a win for Patrick. But Gladiator steals second on the finish line, losing out Crioula who get third, but Platoon through in fourth. And there's a big problem with Sled. Sled have had to turn away from the wind. They've lost their forestay by the looks of things. That's a big, big problem. Sled are not able to finish the race, and they'll have a tough night. They're going to have to see if they can make a repair, but that really is a big problem for the team which were leading the circuit coming into this regatta. So after 8 races, Platoon Aviation on 24 points, second are Preveza on 40 points, so 16-point lead to Preveza going into the final day, and Crioula up onto the podium on 43 points.
At Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, promotion racing innovation to cruising perfection.
Well, here we are back in Puerto Calero this wonderful Saturday afternoon, early afternoon here in Lanzarote, and everything to play for. It's a wee while since we've seen such a big lead for the regatta leader going into the finals. So 16 points really for Platoon Aviation. They had just to sail a fairly conservative day, but that's not in their DNA at all. Everybody wants to win races and do as best as possible, and it really has been a fantastic regatta. Great to see Platoon Aviation and Preveza indeed back on form, as Katie said in her preamble. They were having a little bit of a tough time in the early part of the season and last season indeed as well. So good to see them out there, and also Crioula on the podium. Let's look at the regatta standings just to remind us as we go into race number 9. We should get 2 good races in today. Platoon Aviation then on 24 points. Look at that scoreline. A couple of 6s, and otherwise it's 3 2s, 2 1s and a 4. Fantastic, really consistent stuff. Preveza, that 110 and a 9, but they really have been nicely consistent. 40 points for them, 43 for Crioula. They could still get second, you know. We talk about Crioula finishing on the podium, but there's a little bit of a 7-point gap back to Trinity Racing. Sled just behind them. It's not over for Sled at all. You know, look at their 1s and 2s, are very capable. They could still finish on the podium. Vayu 54, 55 to Paprec, Gladiator and 55 also, 59 for No Way Back. Better day for Gladiator yesterday. No Way Back, a 3 and a 6, 9 and an 8 for Allegra, 59, 62 for Alpha Plus. Alkedo, Settler really have been the kind of underperformers, with all due respect, this regatta. And let's have a quick reminder of how the season standings have swung in favour of the 3 times world champions Platoon Aviation. 161 points, 171 for Sled now, 212 for Paprec and 213 for Alkedo, 218 for Trinity Racing. That's our primary movers and shakers at the moment. So we've got Katie Dabson on the water, primed and poised, ready to give us all the action, and Robbie McCutcheon here in the studio. Katie, it's a fascinating day, but you know, it should be a day for conservative sailing perhaps. What's your views?
Yeah, I'm actually so excited about the day because I think it's going to be kind of quite similar to yesterday in terms of it's going to be really quite shifty, and there's going to be quite a lot of, I mean, out here already it feels quite shifty, and there's a lots of bands of pressure coming down, which we saw was super important factors on the race course yesterday. We've got about 15 knots of breeze, so like about 5 knots less than we had yesterday, so a bit more manageable. But yeah, I am so excited. I think there's going to be some big kind of big battles, lots of ups and downs, snakes and ladders. I think it's going to be really cool.
I mean, you go in the water with that 16-point lead. How do you attack that? How do you approach that for the day?
I think kind of what was reflected in kind of the VT. I think it's kind of same. They've been doing really well this regatta. Is kind of, especially kind of, I think, what was it, day 2 or day 3? Since then they've been relatively consistent. And just, yeah, whatever they're doing seems to be working, and they seem to be building confidence, and tactically they're making really nice calls, keeping the manoeuvres simple. As they were saying, yeah, I was saying on the VT, it was kind of simple manoeuvres and clean off the start. So I think for them, it's don't do anything that might upset the apple cart. Just same. It's working, and probably half an eye on potentially competitors. But I don't actually, to be fair, I don't really think they need to, because they've got a comfortable enough lead that they can, at the moment, just keep doing what they're doing, and then after that first race today, have a reflection on whether they need to change that strategy going into the second race. But yeah, we'll have to see how this first one plays out for them.
But of course, Robbie, we can't focus just on the Royal Cup. This is all about the season standings. You can't afford to give away a couple of points just to be conservative, can you?
No, absolutely not. And I think, like Katie was touching on, I think, you know, they're potentially, you know, with such a gap, they could take it conservative, but I don't think that's in their DNA. Platoon Aviation, I think they're still, you know, wanting to get, you know, the minimum points out of this regatta, and then, like you mentioned, just it flows on into the season.
That's right. And we were just watching how things are settling down on the start line at 52 seconds to go. Once again, it's a little bit like a laser start, isn't it? Or an ILCA 7 start, an ILCA start, or an Olympic dinghy start, where everybody seems to try and hold position and then pull the pin as late as possible. But this time they seem to be giving themselves a little bit more runway, Robbie.
Yeah, that's right. They're all sort of stacked up at that boat end, which is really interesting to see. I think there could be a few winners and losers out of that boat, because you can all see those sails and those masts are really, really tight together. Paprec being the furthest leeward boat, but absolutely nowhere near that pin end.
Who's closest to the boat then, Robbie?
We've got No Way Back and Alpha Plus battling it out, also Crioula as well. So those teams sort of fighting it out in our points season, and also fighting it out here on the start. So yeah, interesting to see. Keep an eye on that top end of the line, and yeah, we'll definitely have a few boats trying to pull the trigger and really get some room.
Interesting. The gun is just going now, or is just gone. Paprec seem to have got a good start at the pin end, or more towards the pin of the line. Trinity Racing get away a little bit slower, Trinity Racing, but actually there you go, bow number 2, another peach of a start from Harmelo Spear. So too for Sled. They're among the top 2 or 3 starters, more towards the middle of the line. We've got one boat going back there at the windward end of the line, Robbie.
Yeah, we had Alkedo not really getting their time on distance right, and then also I think that's Crioula heading back towards the start line, if I'm correct. So yeah, so much bunch up at the, you can see them. I mean, they're trying to, sort of smack into the waves now. There's so much, waves and disturbed air in there. They're really going slow and trying to get over the swell.
Yeah, indeed, and also Privetsa going not necessarily going the wrong way, but very slow and bouncing on the swell, as indeed our Gladiator. So the boats which have started well on starboard off the line really have the early advantage. Among them being Sled, Vayu, and Trinity Racing, Platoon Aviation in the mix there. But a little bit of a scrappy start there, Katie.
Yeah, super scrappy, and I think the swell is a bit bigger than yesterday, and I think that obviously makes starting way harder, because it's a lot harder to accelerate into. It's kind of a lot harder to hold station, and you need kind of a bigger gap to be able to start in when you've got more sea state. But really, really nice job by Sled there, especially Vayu underneath them as well. But yeah, Sled clearly kind of put yesterday's breakage out of their mind. It was a major breakage, and it's very easy to kind of come in today being a bit nervous of it. But yeah, they're clearly, that's behind them. They're coming in hot, and they've got a really nice start. Also, Trinity, at one point off the start, I thought they would potentially looked a little bit slow, but they seem to have kind of recovered that. And you've got 4 boats out on this left-hand side, Paprec, Trinity, Vayu, and Sled, that I can see that are kind of really all got really nice lanes, and it's just going to be a drag race until someone decides to tap back on a shift.
Anyway, it's good to see Sled off and running, leading for the moment. You can imagine them really putting in a couple of good results today. Just what they need after yesterday's technical problem. But Platoon Aviation jump out, tack out to get themselves a nice lane there, Robbie.
Yeah, they did. It seems like, most of the boats that were at that boat end, I guess, off that start line still want to head out to that right-hand side. They all, I guess, Platoon and Alpha Plus, to me, did have decent lanes and definitely enough to continue on starboard, but they have elected to head out to that right-hand side, so potentially a bit of a split breeze up this first leg, Andy.
But it's amazing that Alpha Plus had a good start and were potentially ahead of Platoon. But in the meantime, Platoon just seem to have speed, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It looks like they've, we've seen the wheels that they have all regatta, to be honest. So, same sort of setup as potentially a little bit less than yesterday in terms of wind strength, but same sort of setup as they've had most of this regatta, and they know and they're confident in their boat speed for sure.
Alkedo going quite well as well, a little bit lower and faster just now. And actually going out on that right side just now, Privetsa seem to have got themselves out of the mire. They were pretty slow coming off the line.
Yeah, it looks like they're quite deep out that right-hand side, to be honest.
Yeah, but they maybe get some leverage out there. I mean, while on board with on the way back with Peter Arima, started at the boat once again. That's really not worked for them. Didn't seem to get the pace off the line.
Yeah, they're having to take a few sterns there. I don't think they're too well in phase with the group. You see the boats just in front of them crossing over, but just having a look out that left-hand side, Andy, that sort of bunch, that's really where we get close. Paprec, Trinity, Vayu and Sled really, really tight, still on starboard, have not tacked. So, they'll just be picking their moments. Sled are in the dominant position to be able to choose that. There it is, just that group, that peloton at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see when Sled sort of decide to go, and then all the rest of them following like dominoes.
That's right, but Sled seemed to be going quite well. Looking across to that right side, maybe just a little bit more pressure for this boat on the right. Looks to be quite lifted and going fast. That looks like Alkedo just second from the left of our picture. But a great way to get the penultimate race away.
Yeah, absolutely. No, excited for both these races. I mean, this really is the last day of this regatta, and it's all been coming down to this. We've seen big scores either way, so yeah, really excited to see who's the sort of winners and losers on this final day. So, I mean, just looking at the speeds as well, Andy, you mentioned potentially a bit more breeze out that right-hand side. We do have Platoon and Alkedo Setelah do have a little bit more speed, just looking at the tracking numbers there, so you're potentially correct in saying that there's a bit more breeze.
Indeed, just watching certainly Vasco and Jordi, as we've said all week, really in phase with the breeze and in phase with each other, which is always helpful.
Looks like, just looking at the tracker there, it looks like Platoon and Alkedo and equally Preveza, all those boats on the right hand side are really wound up. You can, having this onboard footage here on Platoon, you can't actually see those boats out to the left hand side, so potentially a big wind up on starboard, and definitely a bit of an advantage to these right hand boats.
Indeed, already 100 or so meters between Alkedo and Alpha Plus. I mean, disappointing a little bit, but disappointing a little bit for Sled, who had such a good start. But it looks like the right is slightly stronger. We've seen that often on the runs as well, Katie, haven't we? The right or the left downwind has been more pressure. What's your thoughts, Katie?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's. I actually kind of think it changes literally every leg. I mean, yesterday in the Gladiator debrief, I was sat in it, and Morgan, the coach, he was kind of saying, he was like, basically, you get to each mark and you reset. The race almost starts again when you get to each mark, because it's not a given what's going to be working, and it's so changeable out here. He was like, you go around the Lewis, and it's almost as important as that decision is almost as important as the start, because you really need to start that second leg in phase, because so much can change and it's so changeable out here. And we're very much seeing that at the moment with that real split breeze on the course. The right hand boats really winding up, but I mean in 2 minutes time I would not be surprised if that had completely changed and these left hand boats come back strong. It's just about getting in phase with these shifts and kind of searching out the pressure, and also trying to figure out, sometimes there's some days where it's quite consistent what the pressure brings, for example. So some days the pressure could bring a left-hand shift with it, for example, or the pressure could bring a right-hand shift with it, and it's just trying to figure out what kind of day it is out here and how to really maximise what we're seeing on the course and maximise what you can get out of every different change on the course.
Indeed. How have you enjoyed listening to Morgan? He's coached more Olympic medalists than just about anyone, I think.
Oh man, yeah, it's so good, and he's so chatty. I love it, and he starts every debrief with kind of a fun fact segment. So he'll get up a video or a photo from something in the past, and he'll be like, his sailing knowledge is incredible. He'll be like, oh, who are the people in this photo and what have they done, or kind of who's won the most of this event and things like that. And he's just an encyclopedia of sailing knowledge, and it's super cool.
He's got such a dry sense of humour as well. However, anyway, he's interestingly enough, of course, he's coaching the Gladiator team. Used to be with Platoon Aviation, but Platoon, there we'd see it would extend their regatta lead to 18 points if positions had stayed the same. Crioula hanging in there to the podium just and no more. Unfortunately, they're in 55 points. Sled just need a single point to get onto the podium, so to Trinity Racing. So things shaking up all the time. Preveza fairly solid though in second. They're out there on the right side, but Platoon really are sailing beautifully, Robbie, aren't they? They're taking no massive risks, just sailing relatively conservatively, having got a good start sailing more towards the middle of the course.
Yeah, seriously, smart sailing from Platoon all week, to be honest, and this is just another picture of them doing exactly that. I mean, they came off the line nicely, but they chose to head out to that right-hand side. They didn't want to head out with their other boats, with the competitors, and you know, it's paying dividends for them. So seriously, smart sailing. It's an joy to watch, to be honest.
It is indeed. Sled battling in 5th just now. Pat, who had such a good start, down in 8th. But a much more, or not much, but a slightly lighter day than yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look like it. Yeah, you just see the water there, and you know, they're not sort of smashing the bow into those waves as much. So yeah, I think it's just a little bit lighter potentially on that crossover for the J2, J3 around that 15 knot mark, 16 knot mark. So yeah, a bit of a decision from the teams, but I guess they'd set up for the lull, so I would expect a J2 on board these boats, Andy.
Indeed. Now then, Katie, it's so important to finish the last day with a good result, at least ideally 2 good results. Alkedo are very much in that category, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially after a tricky week, today will be super important for them in terms of confidence, like going into the next. There's never say never in terms of podiums and stuff, this event and stuff like that. But I think going into the next event, I think it's going to be super important for them to kind of be on an upward trajectory and finish the regatta kind of having found their form again. I think that really, really changes how you go into the next regatta. If you've kind of figured stuff out and made changes you need to make or whatever it is, and had a good last day, you really, that momentum really does carry, and it just slightly changes your mindset. It makes your mindset it's slightly easier when you get to the next event, being like, oh, okay, it's okay. I know that last time we sailed this boat, we were on form, we've kind of figured it out, so let's keep that going.
Indeed, and of course it's a long break, Robbie, isn't it, through to Valencia?
Yeah, it is. We got the whole month of September off, I guess, so it is a bit of a break. I mean, it gives times for teams to sort of refresh and sort of iron any issues that they have out from this regatta, so it's nice in that respect. But yeah, we wait another month until we get to do it all over again.
I do, but I mean, if you have a good final day, then the month feels better, and if you have a bad final day, you sit there fretting.
It sits with you,
waiting to get to Valencia and try and make good that. But interesting to watch Alkedo crossing in front of Platoon Aviation. I wonder whether they're going to get a little bit of a match race going on now.
Yeah, it looked like Platoon put in a couple there and a couple quick ones, to be honest.
Indeed, an Alpha Plus just not far out of that picture. But now is the time Platoon don't need to get too focused on getting back through. They just need to keep consistent, not get hooked into any private battles.
Yeah, they're definitely just happy to sail clean for sure. And I think it's unfortunate, just to mention those boats that were out on that left-hand side, unfortunate that there was just in a right-hand phase for most of the speed as we head up. So those were sort of the losers, and then the boats out the right have done well. I mean, we spoke about Preveza being quite deep on the right, and they're right back into contention.
They are indeed. They're up there in the 4th, keeping the faith on their strategy. Unfortunately, Crioula then, who are so close, or who are close to the podium now, will be losing out to Trinity Racing, I think. Trinity, we'll have a look at the projected standings. Yeah, Trinity would move up to 3rd, we can see.
It's going to be changing all the time, isn't it?
It is indeed. It could be on the last race for them, but Crioula need to start pulling back some places, but they're a long, long way back, unfortunately. Just the kind of start and first few minutes of this race that they didn't want. But Alkedo moving nicely ahead in the end, Katie. Got themselves in a nice position, a dominant position. Chance to really show what they've got.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that we probably just saw quite a critical point in the race at that point, that cross between Alkedo and Platoon. I think that was a pretty critical point. Alkedo clearly wanting to be able to carry on past. And the fact that they were able to do so, it means that they are kind of in the controlling position, and it is theirs to lose at the moment. But I mean, I wouldn't write off even like the likes of kind of Crioula and Gladiator way kind of down in the fleet. I mean, yesterday, the 11th and 12th boats ended up 3rd and 4th, or 2nd and 4th, I think, in the last race yesterday. So it really is kind of, it does all reset, and it's not just on the upwinds that it resets, it also resets on the downwinds. We saw some massive jumps yesterday by boats being able to like hook into that pressure, hook into those hook into the shifts on the downwinds as well, which is a really exciting, well, exciting for me to watch, and hopefully everyone else too, but yeah, it's really exciting because we don't often get to see such big gains and losses on the downwinds when it's breezy like this. It's normally more processional, and it's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be cool, but again, once it's a streaky breeze, we have these lines of breeze down either flank of the course, really. The left has been generally quite good going downwind. Let's see what Cameron Appleton and Alvaro Mourinho, the afterguard strategist and tactician on board Alkedo, what they want to do.
Yeah, for me...
A little bit slow there, Robbie, aren't they, just momentarily?
Yeah, no, they are. I think it's sort of those puffs that sort of come in and just drop down off the mountains, so very puffy for these boats, so potentially you see them really wound up, really heeled over, and then some moments they're a bit flatter. But I was just going to say, for me, I mean, Alkedo doing a nice job. They only did sort of 3 tacks, and then that last one coming into the top mark, so they've definitely done the least amount of maneuvers as well, so sailing really smart in terms of, not taking the small micro shifts, but playing a little bit big picture and just taking the big ones.
It also helps a little bit being out in front, but
absolutely.
Anyway, Platoon Aviation round in second. Third will be Alpha Plus, a solid start and very steady on the upwind, and I think Provezza are going to come round in fourth, which, considering they were giving us a little bit of a heart attack coming off the line, very slow trying to get away onto port when they did manage to do that. So
interesting to see that jibe set. Yeah.
Jibe set from Alkedo.
Still be in that right hand shift probably from that beat. So yeah, a big decision there from Cam Appleton and team.
And there we go on board Platoon Aviation. They're going for a standard set, bear away.
Looks so good with them running with the swell, Andy.
It does a little bit.
Beautiful.
Just need to pop the bow in a few seconds, and it was Don Cowie, I think, who was saying the other day that it's so important. If you get a wave and if you get a gust coming away from the offset mark as your set, it makes such a difference. You can just jump ahead a few meters. Looks like Allegri, I believe, have got a penalty.
Gladiator looking like a spin.
They've got a penalty to the looks of things.
Another one for them. I mean, how many is it now? It's tough break for those guys again. They've definitely would want to minimise those for the next event, Andy.
Indeed, and Sled just a little bit overpressed in their kite there. Sled coming round in 7th. I mean, they had such a good start and were out in that left side early.
Not too sure about Crioula there, Andy. I'm not too sure why they're sort of, there's a lot of separation between them and the pack, but
we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. It's tough for them because they're definitely contending, like we mentioned, contending for that podium finish.
In the meantime, Provezza strengthening their claim to second overall. And Trinity Racing steady very much, kind of mid-fleet just now. The Platoon Aviation sticking with the port jibe, bear away set. What do we think Platoon are thinking? What do we think Alkedo are thinking, Katie?
I think Platoon were probably wanting to get into a bit of clearer breeze. Alkedo jibe set straight away, and I think for Platoon to carry on, they're probably just wanting a bit more. Not necessarily to engage in any battles. You don't want to be driving directly behind someone and being forced into a higher mode. But it looks like Trinity already has jibed back. So again, a lot more jibing on these downwinds. It kind of feels like the fleet is quite liking kind of playing the middle of the downwinds a bit more. They're kind of not getting too close to the ley lines. I think that's sensible. I think it's really quite high risk to get on the ley lines, the downwind ley lines especially, really early when it's this breezy, because and they're shifty because it's so easy to suddenly become super overlaid. And then
look at that.
if you're that overlaid and you can't hold a kite, for example, it's, yeah. But I mean, Platoon, I can't quite see the angles, but I think Platoon has, managed to punch through in front, which is, or close to it, is a squeaky one. And again, another critical moment. I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. It resets at every mark. And it's full snakes and ladders out here. Platoon done an epic job on holding out a little bit more, getting a bit clean, and Trinity and Alpha Plus having a little battle amongst themselves. So they're going to have to disengage with each other and really try and get Platoon back.
It's amazing, isn't it? Platoon just sailing their own race, not getting involved with the boats behind, but they got that angle right. They clearly knew they had something as they came round the offset mark, Robbie.
Yeah, it looks like they really, are in phase with this downwind shift now, and they came back on a nice knock. So certainly advantage for them, and a bit of hard work there for Alkedo Settler to really keep the air clear. They sort of had to sail a high mode with Alpha Plus just on their windward hips. They just lost a little bit there, and Alpha Plus really on the attack at the moment.
Indeed, I think it's probably the breeze for me is still on that left side, and in fact actually you can see now, I mean, it's really a question of timing and being in phase, or the phase you want to be in with the gusts, Katie, isn't it? Because you can just see Platoon Aviation now getting across into the stronger breeze, which will carry them down to the leeward gate, and able to do that doing fewer jibes. Or is it less jibes? Fewer jibes or less jibes?
Yeah, both apply. I think just linking those pressures is super critical. You don't want to be falling out of it. I mean, watching Alpha Plus, so I'm sat on the right-hand side as you're looking downwind. Alpha Plus just jibed in front of where we are. I feel like at the moment where I am, it's a bit less pressure, and where they are, they kind of jibed just before they fell out of that pressure. So they're really trying to kind of stay in that pressure, keep that pressure going as long as they can. On this down, I think that's what Platoon's done really well. They kind of have managed to stay out of trouble and just really be focusing on the pressure. The sea state it's a lot more swelly than yesterday. There is some big rolling waves. Anyone that is into wing foiling or downwinding, anything like that, today is the day for that. It's really nice groundswell, and I think another thing about being freer and not engaging with other boats is that you are really able to maximize your steering and your moding on these waves, so you really can kind of eke out every little meter that you can get. And I think if you're kind of tight with another boat and having it forced high or anything like that, then you actually do lose quite a lot of meters over a kind of over the run, because you're not able to kind of take those meters, and that makes all the difference when it gets to the leeward marks and those important crosses.
Interesting. Alpha Plus have just made a little bit of a gain. They're just doing exactly that, I think, Katie, and coming across into the stronger breeze, which Platoon Aviation are jibing to catch. Correspondingly, way out on that left side, Alkedo seem to have lost out momentarily. They should come down with more breeze, but really I'm loving the way that Vasco and Jordi are knitting together the puffs. And when they have to go between puffs, they're sailing a shorter distance, as it were, to link up the gusts.
Yeah, absolutely, linking them up, Andy, and I think they're doing a nice job of also positioning themselves with the other boats. You see Alpha Plus just behind them, so they're just really locking in their spot. There's not much, sort of room for the other boats to overtake them, but equally they're also linking it up, like you mentioned, so really sailing smart on this downwind. And I think coming into this gate mark, I think you'll have a lot of boats, Alkedo, Alpha Plus, potentially Trinity as well. They'll all be coming in, and I think it'll get really tightly congested, so you can imagine all these boats just really trying to set up for which gate mark they want and having those discussions early.
Trinity Racing doing their own thing very much, sailing their own race in their own stretch of water. Now up to third, unfortunately Crioula so far behind. This is to the advantage of the Swedish team, potentially finishing on the podium again, and maybe moving up significantly on the overall. Platoon, I think almost on ley line, Robbie, are they?
Oh yeah, I was just having a look at that. I think they've still got a little bit, just a little bit to go. Potentially they're already on starboard actually, so coming in on into that gate mark. But yeah, I was just having a look at the sort of speeds, and I think Trinity did get a little bit more. It just looked like their speed was up relative to the other boats. Potentially that's just because they were running with the swell, so we'll see how they are sort of going across it, but I think they made a little game for me.
I mean, that's one of the things we've just seen with Trinity in particular, or just that last jibe. You really want to jibe, as ever, jibe with a wave and with pressure. They were just a little bit slowed through their jibe, just mistimed it with the wave, but they're just behind Alkedo Setelar.
It looks like these angles are very different, doesn't it? You know, on each of the boats. I mean, it looks like you got in the background there, you've got Alpha Plus who look quite deep. Maybe it's just the perspective we have, but equally so, Alkedo look a bit high for me.
Yeah, and Platoon managing to sail quite deep, or relatively deep. No Way Back making some nice recoveries, using the pressure and the shift, getting themselves back into the match, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on what Katie said about that sort of big groundswell, it really looks like it's kicked up, doesn't it?
I mean, just a reminder, I mean, compared to, in terms of geography, compared to Marina Rubicon is pretty much in the narrows between Fuerteventura and Lanzarote. This is the open Atlantic, and hence the groundswell, albeit on the east of the island, as it were. Not such a great jibe from Prevetsa, but they're in fourth, holding that solid second. Breeze does seem to be up and down a lot, potentially more than yesterday. Yesterday we seemed to get more prolonged gusts.
Yeah, it just looks like it's a little bit lighter, or potentially a few more holes down this bottom end.
Yeah.
You can see it in the background, it does look quite puffy still up the top there. So we definitely still have quite a bit of breeze, but I think just the holes and sort of managing, boat speed through the swell and through the puffs is really important.
And Platoon Aviation just closing the door on the boats coming in from behind. They're going to have to jibe. Do you think they'll go right mark, or they?
No, I think it's a bit tight there on Alpha Plus, so I think they'll just continue and just take a left turn.
Alpha Plus have made a good jibe, or a good downwind there. Just got a couple of places coming down the last stages there, getting themselves into contention. But yeah,
I think it's very strong coming in with the swell, coming into the gate marks. Touched on it many times before this week, but yeah, I think sort of coming in on starboard with the swell really opens up your options, and you're able to just keep the speed as you go round, as you see Alpha Plus do that now.
So Alpha Plus round in second, moving up from third at the top mark. Now it's super close between Prevetsa and Trinity. Alkedo go round in third on that right mark. So Alkedo losing a couple of places down that run. That'll be disappointing for them. And then it's quite close coming in here. Prevetsa and everybody seems to be trying to get into the right-hand mark late on, or actually Trinity will get round the left-hand mark looking upwind. No Way Back doing a nice job inside sled. Prevetsa potentially losing two boats here.
Yeah, really tough turn for Trinity though. Obviously they got buoy room, so Prevetsa had to let them in there. Prevetsa did a nice job of just opening that gap between them, and you see they just have a nice surrounding with a little bit more speed, so just a touch inside there at the mark. So potentially, a good job of executing that mark rounding by Prevetsa.
So Alkedo round in third, No Way Back, chipping away, in the words of Terry Hutchison, getting they were sixth at the coming down that run, now up to fourth just in the strength of that mark rounding. Trinity losing a place, certainly to sled. Prevetsa dropping to seventh.
Interesting to see Alpha Plus, sort of go round, and equally Prevetsa just wanting to tack over as soon as they come around that mark. So, I mean, it's indicating to me, and the boats on the right, just wanting to continue to head out to that right-hand side, Andy.
Indeed. And Gladiator coming in next in 11th. And 12th, unfortunately, is going to be Crioula, who are some distance behind. This is going to be a real big psychological blow to the Brazilian team. However, Platoon Aviation where they want to be, though Alpha Plus have pulled back nicely. So here we are on board with Crioula team. A little bit, few raised voices there, but everything looks to be okay on board.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll look at the boats coming upwind and sort of make their selection off that, but looks like it's, you know, in a bit of a right-hand phase as we look at it. Most of the boats on starboard tack, so Alpha Plus coming towards Platoon. Will they tack over and just sort of concede a little bit and head into that phase, or will they continue to cross over and try to get out to that right-hand side?
Indeed, just watching Trinity then. Trinity had made a couple of places down the run. Now they have to make them back again. They're down in 6th. As soon as we've got all the boats round the mark, we'll have a wee look at the regatta standings, projected standings, if positions in this race stay the same. Breeze seems to have picked up quite nicely there for Trinity, but there you go. It would be a 22-point lead for Prevezza going into the last race. Sorry, for Platoon Aviation over Prevezza going into the last race. It's a long, long time since any team has won a regatta with a race to spare. However, that could be the case for the German 3-times world champions. Prevezza then in 2nd, Trinity Racing moving up to 3rd, Crioula in 4th, Sled 5th. I mean, whatever, the podium is still possible, certainly you would say, for Sled, Crioula or Trinity. And remember, there's just a single place. I mean, Crioula are a long way back, but there's just a single point between them and Trinity Racing. Trinity Racing actually dropping places going down at the end of that run. So all to play for, certainly for Trinity Racing and Crioula. Nice solid sailing from Prevezza and Platoon Aviation, although Prevezza really need to start picking up a couple of places just to be super sure.
Really cool to see also Andy Sled just working their way up into 5th place. I mean, you heard Don Cowie in the interview say they're not going to hold back at all. They're really going to go for it, and he sort of mentioned the boats at sort of 90%, but they're really going hard to try claw back as many points as they can and do the boys a service that did them a service, I guess, pulling an all-nighter and really give payback to them.
Indeed, there they are. But certainly a long night for the technical team.
Yeah, I wonder if they're napping now or they're trying to watch their team.
I think, guys, you'd know they'll probably take a quick hour before as the boat goes off the dock, everything being equal and everything settled. They'll take an hour, 90 minutes before the race start. I'm sure they're back up watching and cheering the team on wherever they are.
Some good Kiwis on board and inside that team. I mean, knowing Ash is actually on board, so, you know, depending on how much sleep he got last night, he's still out there actually sailing on board, Andy.
All right. Well then, Prevezza in 8th just now, but still 2nd overall. Trinity Racing going well. Katie, how do you? What are the options now then for the likes of Prevezza and Sled? There's still plenty of racing still to go, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. And I think they just trying to get the meters out today. I was actually just kind of thinking a lot of the teams get K&D reports at the end of a day on kind of speeds, modes, kind of a bit of an analysis on how they've sailed, and also I think that would include distances sailed. And I was just kind of thinking it would be super interesting to see the difference in distance sailed by the boats at the front of the fleet, who are able to make their own decisions and really get onto those right shifts early and are able to link into the precious downwind. It'd be really, really interesting to see how much of a shorter distance they sail compared to the fleets at the back of the boats at the back of the fleet. But I think in terms of opportunities that opens up, I think for the likes of Prevezza and Sled, there is a lot of meters to be gained by being able to still do that, even if you are deep in the fleet. So I think there's plenty of opportunities to be had, and I think in my nerdy brain hole I just went into, I think when I get in, I'm going to go and try and search for some of that data.
I mean, it's one of the data you get in the debriefs, isn't it? Certainly for the Quantum Teams debrief. You'll have James Lionel give them the full debrief of number of tacks and jibes. I think he talks in terms of millions of data points.
Yeah, for sure, and that's it's not always necessarily spoken about in bigger debriefs, depending on whether it's relevant or not, but that is definitely something that all of the speed teams will be looking at, so all of the trimmers will be looking at it, the tacticians will be looking at, but all from different perspectives. So yeah, you'll have the kind of tacticians looking at it from in terms of manoeuvres and in terms of distance sailed probably, distance to line, for example, on the start. I mean, there's like endless information in these things, and then the trimmers are going to be looking at angles, time spent at VMG, like height, speed. It's all super interesting stuff, and it's all really helpful. And that's kind of a bit of a thing about what goes on behind the scenes. You don't just get in and kind of debrief and talk about what you see. There's also teams behind the teams that are providing this information, and then everyone's it goes deep.
Great. I think we'll let's have a look at that a little bit more detail in Valencia. But Ed Baird is doing some kind of powerful magic with the Trinity Racing team just now. That left side's worked for them since the leeward mark. We kind of saw them losing places on the run, Robbie. Now they're picked their way back up to second and getting past Alpha Plus.
Yeah, that's right. They haven't done any manoeuvres, or that one tack was their first manoeuvre on this beat. So I think that just really emphasises, minimising the manoeuvres. You mentioned the statistic. I won't go back into it, but they've only done one tack, so they just haven't lost anything, whereas the other boats have done a couple tacks. I think that's the little point there, and I think they just stayed in that right phase the whole way out. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of come back, because there are still boats out on the right, Alpha Plus in particular, potentially still in that right phase.
Indeed, we'll see how that plays out. Alpha Plus on the right and Trinity on this left side. Paprec versus Sled is a little match going on just now. But we're making our way up this second beat.
Platoon really locking it down though, aren't they, Andy? I mean, just...
They are indeed. It's going to be interesting to watch when they go through the finish line. Winning the Royal Cup with a race to spare, whether they play the Kiwis or play the Italians.
Yeah, I guess, if all things do stay the same and then they go into that next race, then they sort of get a free hit and a free swing at what sort of they want to get out of it.
I think we just want to keep extending on Sled. It's ironic because it was Francesco Bruni who was saying to me before we started the regatta, a few days before, in fact, he's saying, no lead is safe. At that point, they had a 17-point lead, and in the end, it could be a 17-point lead or thereabouts to Platoon going into Valencia. But it was ever thus in this 52 Super Series circuit. We've seen some massive leads overturned in the last few days of the penultimate regatta, or indeed in the last regatta, and it very, very often goes down to a point or a single point or a couple of points here and there.
Yeah, just looking at the 2D tracker here, Andy, just seeing Sled, you mentioned the points here and there. They'll really just want to, they're in the group there with Paprec and Allegre, but they're really just trying to, sort of win that group, pick a point, because it's still really all on for them, isn't it?
It does indeed. It's damage limitation from their perspective just now, trying to minimise the points they'll lose to Platoon over today. And as you say, get to Valencia, as Don Cowie said, being the hunters rather than the hunted, which he said he quite likes that idea. However, that's going to be a fantastic finale, and so many private battles all the way through the fleet.
Interesting to note here, Andy, just it's sort of been in that right phase the whole time. It looks like these boats on port, because they have to be just trying to get back to the square of the beat, but I think they're just a little bit down on angle on port, so potentially just seeing a really sort of sufficient right phase that we're in at the moment. So yeah, I don't know what Katie's seeing up the top of the course here, but it'd be interesting to get her point of view of just sort of how the shifts are coming into this top mark.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mixture of shifts and pressure. I mean, I think the pressure will be having a big effect as well on kind of angles. at the moment I'm kind of sat in a lighter bit of pressure, and I would expect that to kind of go down to, like, we're just above the windward mark here now, so I'd expect that to kind of make its way down. But then just behind me there's another band of really big pressure, and I'd expect that to kind of be a shift. Whether that shift comes in time for the kind of, for it to affect the standings in this race at the moment, we'll see, because we've got most of the fleet actually now racking up towards that port ley line. So in terms of shifts, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference. There's not a massive split in the fleet, but it could lead to a lot of boats being overlay for the protector, for example. It looks like the boats kind of furthest on the furthest out on the port ley line, so the likes of Paprec and Sled, they look to me to be quite overlay for that protector mark. As you were saying, that would kind of make sense for a right hand shift. But yeah, I'm just wondering whether Paprec will end up losing out because they are that overlay, or whether the breeze will kind of come back, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've seen it quite often, haven't we, Andy, with the boats sort of stacking up on that port ley line, but then having to put the bow down and really sail fast to get around that spreader mark.
Indeed, we'll just wait and see how that plays out. It's actually, I think, things starting to spread out a little bit more as we approach this second windward mark. Platoon Aviation have that small lead, but actually they're still really under pressure from Alpha Plus. All credit to the Hong Kong team. They've had an up and down regatta, but so much talent on board. They are lying in they're lying, I beg your pardon, they're lying 8th for the season. They're in 11th for the moment. They won that second race, but otherwise they've got 3 big scores in their score line. So just endorsing the idea that we were talking about earlier on, that you really want to finish on a high note, at least with one good score to rebuild your confidence ahead of Valencia. Meantime, coming in from that left side, looking upwind, Alkedo just passing the protector mark. No way back as well.
Trinity done a good job as well there, Andy, just on that right-hand side. So I think they'll be coming in potentially in 3rd place. So a nice little upgrade from where they were at that gate. Oh, they'll be 4th, excuse me, with Alkedo just tacking underneath them. But well done to them for that second beat.
Indeed, but I think probably the Alpha Plus hanging in nicely, but Alkedo a little bit slowed there. Once again, it's quite dotty if you don't keep the pressure on, stay in the pressure and keep moving forwards. Just a little stall from Alkedo, but that loses them a couple of meters to the boat behind, which is Trinity Racing. It's going to be a great tactical final downwind.
Yeah, I wonder, Alpha Plus obviously gained a lot on that first downwind leg on the right hand side as we look at the screen, so it'd be interesting to see how their sort of strategy ends up, if they still want to go out to that side, or it currently seems like they're happy to just continue. But we definitely have, potentially a difference in strategy, especially with Alkedo doing a jibe set on that first downwind.
Let's wait and see, but they're going for a straight set this time.
Yeah, big sort of battle there, isn't it?
Alkedo just sailing clear of Trinity Racing.
Really high up there, really trying to get into some puff early, or sort of try to get away from Trinity and take it over the top of them.
Just getting a little bit of separation, I guess. There's a little bit of pressure just on their hip just now, which is maybe what they saw. But Platoon sailing away, jibe set for Sled, and no way back. But seem to have a few problems with the kite.
Yeah, Platoon electing to go as well, so just staying clear. That this is sort of exactly the jibe point that they did on that first downwind.
That's right. More or less, I think they just like to get settled coming down and just evaluate see what's going on. That kite's still not set on no way back. That will be distressing Terry a little bit. Seems to be all fingers and thumbs at the moment on no way back, but they're settling down now. Vayu up to 7th. So let's keep an eyes on that battle between Trinity and Alkedo.
I wonder if the boats.
I think for sure at the moment, Platoon happy to just stay inside Alpha Plus and keep a little bit of a loose cover on them, not get too far to either side of the course.
Yeah, I guess if you're that leading boat, you don't want to be too far away. You still sort of want to stay in touch with the boat, so you're sort of happy with how Alpha Plus just kept going, jibed a little bit, so they're still in touch with them, aren't they?
Indeed, and I think you're always between them and the stronger pressure down the left side if Alpha Plus have gone with you. I mean, they may be a little bit more exposed to Alkedo in the foreground just now. But I say for me, that's been the impressive thing that Jordi and Vasco have done, is really minimising the distance they sail between the two strands of gusty breeze.
Yeah, they always seem to be leading out to that side as well, don't they? Sort of being the first ones to turn or first ones to manoeuvre to get out to that side. So, yeah, no, really, really smart sailing from them.
There we go. This is Platoon Aviation really are running away with this. When you consider as well that that's 21 points they are ahead of Sled. Sorry, 26 points they are. 31 points ahead of Sled at the moment.
Still so tight, isn't it, for that third place? I mean, even Preveza aren't holding on to that second place, too tightly.
I'm more thinking about what Platoon Aviation will have in terms of a lead going towards Valencia. I mean, it's academic. Like I keep saying, no lead is too big, no lead is safe going into the last regatta.
Back in the med as well, I guess. So, different conditions for these teams.
I mean, if we remember the finale in 2024, so different. We'd seen Gladiator actually dominating the season, but it was all sea breeze conditions, or brisk, strong sea breeze conditions, or sea breeze conditions. Pick a side and win your side. And then we got to Valencia, and it was offshore. And sometimes very strong offshore. It's completely different. Gladiator struggled, and Platoon Aviation sailed. I mean, conditions, as I said the other day to Katie, conditions were very similar here to Valencia that time in September. And interestingly enough, we were just remarking that Platoon and Preveza were the two top teams at that 2024 regatta. That's the last Royal Cup that Platoon Aviation won. Preveza were second there. Phoenix were third, and actually Crioula were fourth. So we're kind of thinking there might be a little bit of symmetry, a little bit of a repeat, other than the fact that Phoenix are not here. However, Crioula have another race to get themselves back onto the podium. Not impossible at all. It's very much in their hands and those of Trinity Racing. However, credit to Alpha Plus, Katie. They're sailing a really solid race, aren't they? That's fine. So we have a technical problem with Katie's boat for the moment, so we'll not be having Katie. But we're saying that it's all down to what Crioula can do in the next race, and indeed Trinity Racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely still in touch, Crioula. So, even with a 12th.
Yeah, let's have a little look at the point standings for the regatta, projected point standings for the regatta at the moment. Indeed, yeah, Trinity Racing actually and Crioula are on equal points, and that's just on count back on races. Whoever beats who through the finish line on this race at the moment. Trinity certainly can't afford to lose a place, otherwise that would give Crioula back into third. So a nice little finale there for sure, and actually Preveza are still only 6 points clear. Preveza can't afford to falter in this next race.
Yeah, I wonder if you're just speaking about how close it is, Trinity and with Crioula. I wonder if the people on board. Oh, here we go, a bit of a battle
There you
going
go,
on.
Alpha Plus building up some speed. They've got themselves onto a nice gust and rolling over the top of Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation just not in a position to respond really.
Really nice
Just
job.
A nice little bit of acceleration there from Alpha Plus. It's just about wave selection. We're starting to see that groundswell working, aren't we? And Platoon Aviation responding and going forward. They're starting to get into a clear breeze and a great sprint finish for the moment between Alpha Plus and Platoon Aviation. Actually, Vayu have made some gains there, Robbie, by the looks of things.
Yeah, they have. It just seems that they've sort of sailed their own race, come out to this left-hand side as we look upwind, and they'll just be at the bottom of your screen now. It looks like they've just picked up a little bit. So you know, same sort of trend. We sort of saw these boats down here or down the bottom of your screen on the left-hand side, just sort of making little gains, just not getting caught up with other boats.
Here we are then on board with Vayu. They've gained up to 4th, Paprika in 5th. Privetza 6th, and Trinity have dropped down to 7th. No Way Back are only 40 metres to the sprint finish between No Way Back and Trinity. So there you go, just as I was saying a few minutes ago, Crioula, I don't want to say moving back into 3rd, but Trinity Racing dropping up a couple of places, losing out on 3rd. So Crioula breathe again for the moment, but it's all about Trinity Racing, whether they can get through 6th place Paprik, Vayu, and it's just Vayu have had a really nice run, and it's going to be a great close finish between Platoon Aviation. Platoon Aviation are putting on a final sprint as they sprint towards their 4th Royal Cup victory, no matter whether they get through the line before Alpha Plus or not. But it's been an impeccable regatta from the Germans, the 3 times world champions, heading for their first regatta win since 2024 in Valencia. They come through the line, the job is done, and Harm Muller-Spreer has got a big smile on his face. Really well deserved, and what an emphatic victory really for Harm and the team. It's been a long time in the waiting. They've been through the emotional ringer. So big relief for them. Great second place from Alpha Plus. Alkedo just coming through, I think getting 3rd, Robbie, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I think it's going to be very tight here with Vayu and Paprik, potentially Vayu just pipping it, so a big move on that downwind from the Thailand team.
Yeah, Vayu just coming through now, Paprik getting through next, and Trinity Racing just losing a couple of places down that run, but they are still ahead of No Way Back, a little bit dead downwind. And I think they'll still be able to close the door on Privetza. Privetza actually losing out a little bit too much on this leg, but they will still be going into the final race with a good, solid second place, I think. And then coming in there, Sled were good in the first half of the race, then losing out, dropping down to 9th. Then Allegra, I think, will get 10th.
Yeah, I mean, Crioula even caught up a little bit. I mean, obviously they were such a long way away during that race, so they've caught up a bit. But yeah,
give them a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of self-confidence going into the last race. And there we go. Great to see another drone in the picture. It's a drone city there. Anyway, Allegri come through. Gladiator through in 11th and 12th. Unfortunately for the team from Brazil, I think may still be going into the last race in 3rd place, but it's kind of immaterial because they're certainly in contention. Vasco there just telling everybody to calm down. There's obviously a mood of elation on board. The job is done. They have won, their first regatta since they won the Royal Cup in Valencia in September 2024 when Privetza were 2nd. They really have had some ups and downs since they had this new boat. And it's taken them a while to really get on top of the tuning and the reliability. I think they've had 3, maybe 4 keels. But however, clearly now they have speed and they have a very cohesive, strong team which is really working well, and they look to be in great shape heading towards Valencia. Disappointing couple of days for sled. So a little bit of a debrief, say just the moments, the time to enjoy the champagne is still a long way off, but they know that the job is done in terms of the regatta, Robbie.
Yeah, I think just looking at the mood on board, I think they're just sort of thinking, you know, for the season standings, that job isn't finished there. They've still got to get, you know, as low as points as they can in this next one. Obviously, they deserve to have a smile on their face. They've been sailing absolutely outstandingly all week, but I think you just saw Vasco there, just a little fist bump, but, you know, carry on, keep you know, working hard and trying to get, you know, as little points as they can for this next one, just for the season standings.
But look at that shot. We've got the regatta standings just coming across our screen, but you can just see the bands of pressure as they roll down off the mountain at the back of Puerto del Carmen. But yes, let's have a look at the regatta standings there. Platoon Aviation then on 25 points, Provezza on 48, 55 for Crioula, 56 for Trinity Racing, Vayu on 58, 60 for Paprec, 60 for Sled, 64 for Alpha Plus, 66 for No Way Back. Gladiator also on 66, 69 for Allegra, and Alkedo on 76. So, Robbie, big private battles all the way through the fleet.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very tight. You know, as we sort of go down from almost second all the way down to about 8, you know, it's really, really tight. One race can really swing it either way. So just the little battles. I'm excited to see how this sort of second race plays out. Provezza, Crioula obviously wanting to sort of cement their place on the podium. But then the likes of Trinity, Paprec, Vayu, I mean, even Sled, they'll be going no holes barred, just really trying to get onto that podium and put everything into it.
Well, there's only 5 points between them and third step in the podium. It's a really fascinating setup at the moment. So anyway, there we go. Look at that. Platoon Aviation now on 162 points. Sled are now back on a 180, and Alkedo Setelar 216. Paprec. That battle just swinging to and fro between the blue teams, the Italian Blues of Alkedo Setelar and the French Blues and Paprec. Then Trinity Racing on 224, 231 for No Way Back, 234 for Alpha Plus, that's second, certainly helping them, and Provezza 237, 256, Crioula, Vayu 272, 281, Allegra, Gladiator and 302, and Teasing Machine unfortunately unable to compete at this regatta. They are here, but they had that D2 breakage on day one. So that's the circuit standings going into the final race here at Puerto Calero. We'll take a little bit of a break just to calm down, and then we will be back with the last race. Join us again in a few minutes.
Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
Heard you like to party, and lucky you the party's in town. And we should take a chance to share in this romance. I promise I ain't fooling around. Girl, it's something good when we're feeling higher than the ceiling. My words, they couldn't bring me down. But there's one thing that I want to know if we can get to whenever you can come around. Oh baby, can you?
wanna shock my body. Come on, come alive. If you want a good time, you got me. Lights, camera, action. Make you wanna love somebody. Drowning in these lights. Fever colored high. Do you like it like that? Yes. Better heart, never beat, beat, beat so fast. Drop it up, down, back. Yes. Falling like a domino. We're dancing on moonlight cosmic. All I wanna do, your loving is so hypnotic. Ooh, colliding all night, can't stop it. Diving in a summer blue. Your loving is so hypnotic. So hypnotic. So hypnotic. There's no stress, having one too many of a drink like you. If you want a good time, come get me. This beat is heaven. If you wanna toss a penny in a fountain, I wish for no goodbye. Do you like it like that? Yes. Better heart, never beat, beat, beat so fast. Drop it up, down, back. Yes. Falling like a domino. We're dancing on moonlight cosmic. All I wanna do, your loving is so hypnotic. Colliding all night, can't stop it. Diving in a summer blue. Your loving is so hypnotic. Can't get enough, can't get enough. Your loving, can't get enough, can't get enough, can't get enough. So hypnotic, can't get enough, can't get enough. Your loving.
Me something, it might just take the pain away. See, I've been thinking a million things I want to say. Now I'm looking in your eyes, but I'm wandering to your lips. See, I'm trying to keep it cool while I'm hovering for the kiss. 'Cause I've been needing old-fashioned orange slice, sweet like daiquiri with strawberry crushed ice. Know you like a margarita with the hot spice. Love the taste of paradise. No, it's never been the right time. Like we're holding back the storyline. And I'm waiting at the end of the night, thinking of you. Took your number from a friend, but I never call. I never call. I never call. I started writing a DM, didn't sleep at all. Not awake that night. And every time I go out, I'm looking around to see you there. Where are you? And my heart skips beating when your perfume's in the air. 'Cause I've been needing you like old-fashioned orange
friend of a friend told me you're moving on. Wish I could say I'm surprised.
Welcome back for the final race here in Puerto Calero. Our time in Lanzarote is very soon coming to an end, but it's finishing on a particularly high note for Platoon Aviation, who have already wrapped up the Royal Cup, their 4th Royal Cup, with a race to spare and a pretty sizable margin. So it's something of a race for second and third steps. On the podium, Prevezza are just pretty solid for their second, but Crioula and Trinity are just separated by a point. And Vayu, actually, who started the regatta with the lead after day one, if we remember, they're still in the fight for the podium. So let's have a quick look at the regatta standings as we go into this final race. Platoon Aviation on 25 points, a big lead, lead over Prevezza, unbeatable lead. Prevezza in second. They are 7 points up on Crioula, and correspondingly Crioula just a single point ahead of a Trinity Racing. Vayu on 58. They are only 3 points off the podium. 5 points off the podium are Paprec and Sled. And then Alpha Plus with that solid second. A good best result of the regatta for them. Other than that, first on day one. That's giving them 8th for the moment. No way back. 66 for Gladiator. Allegra down in 69 points and 76 for Alkedo. So, Katie, you've had some drama going on, but you're on the start line for us.
Oh yeah, I'm back. You can't keep me away. No, we had some camera drama, but very much back in the room.
Back in the room.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, that race, back on the water. That race was epic. Like the second lap of that race, especially. I mean, shout out to Vayu. That is such an impressive comeback on that top of that second beat and that downwind. As we were kind of driving back to shore to sort the camera out, I was like, no, I want to watch how this finishes.
No.
But I was still up and tracking up. Don't you worry, I was still listening very much to your commentary. So very nice. But yeah, I think more of the same for this race. It feels, I'm trying to work out if it feels a bit windier or not. But I think maybe it is just kind of similar. Just like big bands of pressure coming down, but also big lows, looking quite similar. The fleet's quite spread out across the line. Again, as you were saying in the last start, it is very kind of like a dinghy start, like a laser start. Everyone is racked up super early at the moment. Bit more congested down at this pin potentially. You've got Prevezza and Crioula really kind of battling each other to be on that pin ley line, so that's definitely one to watch, whether they can manage that and kind of make sure that no one gets pinned out. But for me, a much more open start line. Hopefully there's, what I would love to see from this start is kind of, I love it when all of the boats are on the line at the same time, all get kind of similar starts, and it's just a pure drag race. I think the shots from that are so cool, and you really get to see, that's when kind of the trimmers and the helms and all of that really get to show their strengths when they get to be in these tight positions. But we will see. Hopefully it's a clear start and kind of everyone gets off with a good gap and we get a good drag race.
What do you think about the positions on this start line, Robbie?
Yeah, well, just interesting to see that Crioula sort of want to go back to their sort of pin end start and really try start at the pin. Prevezza just got that hook on them, so they weren't able to fully have the runway they wanted, but just going back to what worked for them previous in the regatta. Conversely though, going up to the top end of the fleet, top end of the line, excuse me, we've got Sled there really going for it, really throwing all the chips down on the table. Alpha Plus also trying to vie for that boat end start, and we have no way back just to lure to them. So we see these middle boats at the moment, they're really tight. I think that's Vayu really close to the line. starting to pull the trigger for all the boats now, Andy.
Actually, Prevets have got a nice start, or potentially a nice start of this pin into the line. Unfortunately, Crioula look like they're going to be left flat-footed. Paprec get away nicely. Cedric Chateau on the helm with his brother watching at home. And Platoon Aviation actually potentially have the best start. But Vayu, just when Katie was saying that they were challenging for the podium, having to restart, a solid start from No Way Back. Gladiator not so good, but a good position, good lane, but not having the pace. But look at the regatta winners. Platoon Aviation, a really solid lane for them straight away, good start. But once again, Robbie, Hong Kong boat, Alpha Plus, one of the best starters in the fleet this time.
Yeah, another absolutely nailed start by Alpha Plus there. They've had sort of 3 or 4 on the bounce even, so another one just to keep the confidence building through. You touched on Platoon there. It's sort of the same spot that they started most of the regatta, so they like that sort of middle pin. But yeah, we also see Sled doing a nice job of winning that boat end. I think all these boats heading out on this side, I think they're in a bit of a right-hand phase, so expect them to keep going for a little while, and we'll see how it all sort of shakes out. But Alkedo having to take a few sterns heading out to that right-hand side.
Who's that going out in the early right? There's
that far right, that's Vayu there, so just going back and swinging it. Yeah.
They'll get themselves a nice lane, but in the meantime, I'm hurting a little bit for Crioula. They got engaged with Prevezza on the start line, on their end of the start line. Now they're struggling a bit there, hoping that the left will come good, but unfortunately they couldn't live there in the dirt of, in the gas of Prevezza. So they're having to take a clearing tack there. But that's tough for them. Vayu then in 12th, Crioula down in 10th. So the early advantage is to Trinity Racing. Though Trinity Racing, Robbie, didn't get a great start either, and really were bouncing about in their little lane.
Yeah, that's right. Platoon did a good job of pulling the trigger and being on time and at the line and at the gun, and that just really put the hurt on Trinity because they were just a little bit further bow back, and you know that sort of timing just wasn't right, and they didn't have the speed, so they're just a little bit bow back on the rest of the fleet, but still in just a real tight lane.
Indeed, and watching Alkedo there going out to the right. That's worked for them. That's what worked for them last time. Katie didn't have the best start, indeed, but they do have a nice open lane. They have nobody troubling them. Can let the boat do the work, and in the meantime, No Way Back, I think, in quite a reasonable position in terms of this group in the foreground. Katie.
Yeah, No Way Back really managing to kind of punch out. I think it looks like Gladiator's starting to get into a little bit of a tricky lane. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but they do have options to kind of tack out. Yeah, I mean, No Way Back really managing to punch forward on the boats around them. Boats further out to the left. I mean, Prevezza's looking pretty nice, potentially a bit too much of a low mode for me compared to the likes of like Paprec and Allegre. They're just kind of gaining a little bit of height on them. Paprec actually, I think, just generally do have quite a nice, slightly higher mode at wind at points. As I said, as we were saying the other day, their moding seems to be quite defined and quite effective when they use it, and I think that's a really good strength of the Paprec team. But yeah, for me at the moment, No Way Back looking really strong and really kind of that boat end pack, or the kind of the pack more to the right hand side of the fleet. No Way Back very much dominant at the moment. It's just, I think what will make the difference will be, yeah, if we kind of get a bit of a wind shift, whether they're then in a strong enough position or whether the boats further out on the left hand side will be able to sail up inside them on the way back to the middle of the course on port.
But it was interesting, Robbie. Alpha Plus we highlighted with a really good start, not really able to impose themselves at the moment. Sled further to windward, going faster and lifting slightly away from the pack, but also No Way Back, certainly with control of the boats to leeward, including Platoon Aviation.
Yeah, tough Alpha Plus. I think they did have a very good start, but equally so did Sled and No Way Back, and unfortunately for them, they are in the middle of that, so potentially getting a little bit sandwiched in the middle there. I mean, they still have a good, nice enough lane just to keep holding, but yeah, just these other two boats around them really sort of converging on top of them.
Indeed. So really this battle in this group in our foreground just now between Platoon and No Way Back. Be great to see No Way Back finish with a strong result. Alpha Plus up there. Crioula fighting from the back. So in terms of the battles that for the podium, it's really between Trinity and Crioula. Crioula need to be within one place of Trinity if Trinity are in front. But the tie-break would go in Trinity's favour in that situation. And Provezza will have a wee look in just a few seconds, hopefully. There you go. Provezza still in second. Sled actually would move up to third if they're leading this race. So,
wow!
I did say that at the start of the day. Don't count Sled out for the podium. That would be a little bit of a consolation if they could come back to be on the points. But it's super close for the moment. Just a point between Sled and Trinity Racing. I think that's enough of a lure, a bait for Sled, knowing that they can potentially finish on the podium. They will be giving it absolutely everything.
Really?
Just trying to sail clear, sail fast, not get engaged. And it'll be a great way for Sled to finish. They've set up really nicely in terms of this group, Robbie, haven't they?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that exactly. Really nicely positioned. You know, we see all these boats on starboard tack, so really in a right-hand phase at the moment, and they're really best suited for that because just as they get further out to this left-hand side, they get to choose when they want to tack, and if there's a knock, you know, obviously they can tack first and they can be first to it, but then equally if they get even more of a lift, then they're gaining the most out of that as well. So really nice dominate position for them.
Interesting if if there's a knock, the boat's starting to flip over onto port, led by Trinity Racing. In fact, Platoon going, Allegri going.
Yeah, nice first cross, sort of, you know, for the boats that were on their right-hand side. We see Alpha Plus on your screen there, just going over the front and the bow of Platoon. So nice early lead for these teams, and they can just sort of dominate or sort of pick there and control their sort of momentum and their manoeuvres from here on out.
That third place is jumping around at the moment. It's all about this shift, really, isn't it?
Yeah, really cool to see the live sort of standings, isn't it, as they sort of jump around as we get different things on the tracker and positions changing.
Indeed, Provezza on this side, I think, gaining some considerable leverage. But there's a long way to go up this beat, isn't there, Katie? It seems to be good on this left side for the meantime. Or the boats on the left seem to have pressure and a little bit of a lift, perhaps.
Yeah, I think just around the halfway point of this upwind, and as you said, like the kind of Alkedo Gladiator that were kind of further on that right-hand side. For a minute there, I was kind of watching them, and I was like, oh, they're really nice angle coming back. They could be looking pretty sweet here. But then, yeah, you just saw this big old header, big old left shift, which is really kind of played into the hands of Provezza, and No Way Back on that left-hand side. I think it looks to me like No Way Back have got some wheels today. Like it looks like they, in that drag race, they really were kind of starting to extend and starting to pull away from the rest of the fleet. So I think they're definitely kind of ones to watch in terms of their speed. And I think if they can keep themselves clean and keep themselves, well, I mean, keep in the position they're in now, which is kind of their controlling position on the fleet, then I think it looks like to me they've got the speed to do pretty well in this race.
So here we go, quick tacks in succession there. Platoon Aviation having to tack and at the same time putting No Way Back through onto starboard, but it's still Sled very much in control of this race. Alkedo getting up to second, coming back from the right side. Trinity still going out to the right. Platoon Aviation getting a little bit bounced around just now, Robbie, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They just sort of, you know, gone the wrong side of Alpha Plus and had to tack, and it was interesting to see the sort of domino effect on No Way Back. So that's sort of a group that's in contention and not much in it, but then I think that just plays into Sled's hands because they sort of tacked on Alpha Plus. You know, the dominoes fell, and then now they're able to sort of pick their moment to tack back and still sort of control this race.
You're just watching Sled, as you say, controlling the fleet such as they can, but keeping a kind of cover on the fleet, just who their next nearest opponent is. But in the meantime, it's super close in the pack.
Yeah, I mean,
Platoon Aviation, Trinity Alpha Plus.
yeah, quite a few tacks just in that little bit, wasn't it? So, you know, talk about sort of lowering manoeuvres, and we sort of mentioned about the statistics in that last race.
Look at it now, Crioula have made that gain just because they're not in the battle, and they're back in a solid third for the moment, with Preveza in second. But a second ago, Crioula were up to second because Preveza are so deep. But there you go. 59 and 59 to Preveza. You know, it's just extraordinary, isn't it? You know, last race we were ruining Crioula's, you know, last place in the fleet, as it were, at that point. But at the moment, and really being over the start line, they just sail their own lane. They sail their own race as often as they possibly can. Sail the boat past fast. It's a quick boat, very well optimised and set up. I think they've done very little since they bought it, other than buying some new sails. But at the moment, it's still Preveza second, but Crioula up to fourth, and Platoon Aviation down in eighth.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the tracker. Sorry, Andy, just looking at the tracker here. No Way Back sort of continued on that right-hander and really have taken it out to this left-hand side. I think they're the furthest left boat, them and Preveza, so we'll see how they sort of come back. But it really seems to me like it's right-hand shift dominated, so you really got to pick your moment on when you're on port. I think all these teams would, if they had it their way, they'd want to be on starboard the whole way, but, you know, obviously you have to get back on port at some point, and I think that's really, you know, playing into the hands and really a priority for this racing.
Indeed, just watching how things fare out that right side, but No Way Back versus Platoon Aviation just now. Platoon crossed No Way Back, and I think they probably still will. But what an interesting way to finish the regatta, the battle between No Way Back and Platoon. Vasco versus Cherry. Certainly Sled leading, but under pressure from Alkedo.
Yeah, they're sort of the only couple boats who have continued on port since the sort of middle of this beat, so they're still heading out and potentially just trying to hitch up on that starboard ley line, whereas these other boats, you see a bit of a bow down there from Platoon. You see Vasco just happy, putting his hands up. He doesn't. I don't think he wants any aggression or any, you know, altercation. Yeah, exactly.
But certainly they're super close and having to go into a quick tack back onto port. The grinders working really hard there, tack after tack. But while this is all going on, then the boats out on the flanks, like in particular, I think Preveza Alpha Plus on this side, and out on the other side, it's all about minimising manoeuvres.
Yeah, just speaking on the manoeuvres, Andy, we had the statistics, or just had during that break in between races, just sort of studied the statistics of the last race, and I mean the manoeuvres were relatively the same for most of the boats, around that 16 manoeuvres mark, but then just the distance sailed was a real key one. So obviously Platoon won that last race, Alpha Plus was second, Alpha Plus actually having the lowest distance sailed in that race, so you know, that's obviously a key factor, and really interesting to see the data after that first race today.
Indeed, on board with Gladiator then. Tony there working with Victor Diaz de Leon, the tactician. Big Carlo Husman, look at him working the pumps. They are getting themselves up to third just now, Katie. They seem to have wriggled their way up that right side. Nice pressure and
I think they did a really nice.
Yeah, go on, Katie.
Yeah, I think they kind of looked like they were pretty deep in the pack, or like off the start, and I think they did a really nice job of. They were in a tight lane off the line. Nice job of tacking out early, really kind of allowing themselves to stretch their legs. Chriso doing a great job, kind of tuning the main, making sure they're getting the main. Main dialed in so that they can really maximise their speed in that clear lane, and I think staying out of the chaos or staying out of the kind of the battles, I think has really proved to be powerful. But having said that, it's all good. I think it's going to be on this last shift. I think they did what they can to get clear and to get back into the race from the potentially tricky lane off the start, but we'll have to see how these left boats come in. I think second lap of that last race, Vayu did a really nice job of tacking slightly under the ley line, and the boats that were over the ley line on that port ley line ended up losing out. And I wonder if something similar is going to happen here with the likes of Trinity potentially being kind of a little bit under that ley line, and then the likes of Alpha Plus and Preveza. I think watching how those kind of groups come together, I think would be interesting. But for me, I think Trinity might, No Way Back seem to be super comfortable, but I think Trinity might also just slip on in there in a pretty powerful position.
They seem to be doing that at the moment, just crossing Crioula. No Way Back coming in nicely, actually. I think just bringing the bow down very slightly to get round the protector mark. But I think probably Sled will get there with Alkedo. Not sure whether there's going to be room for No Way Back to get tacked inside. And actually you can see the bow coming down on Alkedo just momentarily. And actually No Way Back will just protect against Trinity, and Crioula actually coming in there. If they could get the speed, they will just get inside Trinity if they can just get their tack completed and power up. But that's a tough spot for them just now, Robbie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little tough spot. Real down speed manoeuvre, as they had to do 2 little sharp tacks just to hitch up into this ley line. But fortunately, they were just in front of Alegre enough to be able to get that through. And you see all those boats, they're really stacked up on this top mark. So, you know, a bit of a right-hand shift potentially for me. And yeah, it'll be interesting sort of how this shift. You see Vasco, not sure what's going on board there, but it'd be interesting to see how this sort of shift plays out for the downwinds. The front 2 boats seeming to continue straight, but I'd expect some of these boats in the middle of the fleet wanting to jibe set.
And get clear of the pack. Certainly Platoon Aviation, the worst position they've had for a while in this regatta, however. Just being held up by Alpha Plus as we come across this offset leg. And Preveza in 10th, Vayu 11th. But this is all to the good of Sled, just when they need it. You know, this race is, it feels a little bit of an anticlimax in some respects, because we know that Platoon Aviation have already won it. But in terms of damage limitation, then there you go. Sled leading, Platoon Aviation in 9th for the moment. That margin that we were talking about at the top of the season standings, Sled doing a fantastic job at chipping that away as we head for Valencia. And I think Platoon Aviation not sealing their best race, and if they could pull back if Sled could pull back 8 or 9 points in this race, they'd feel a whole lot better about heading for Valencia as the hunters, not the hunted.
Yeah, no, it definitely goes a long way, and it's nice to see from Sled's point of view a lot of boats in between them and Platoon, but then equally also there's lots of boats between them and Crioula. I mean, we're just looking at the projected results at the moment, still 1 point in it, so need another boat just to be in between Crioula for Sled to go up there, and equally Trinity having a really nice race, so they're putting their best foot forward as well.
Indeed, so the match is really between Crioula and Trinity. Crioula can get through Trinity. Likewise, unfortunately, Sled are there's nothing more they can do, the Robbie, is there?
No, they just, sort of have to lock down this race and run away with it, and then just sort of, look behind them and see how it all sort of shapes up. But no, it's all out of their control.
They need Trinity and Crioula to lose more places. But a fascinating race, Katie. Its places changing all the time. Puffy, shifty, dynamic breeze. 'Twas ever thus here in Puerto Calero. But Sled, Takashi Akura's team.
For sure. No, I was just going to say it is exactly the kind of day I was hoping it was going to be. It's full snakes and ladders. We've got, lots of paths, lots of shifts, so much going on, and I just love the racing that's kind of never over till it's over. But with sled absolutely charging on this downwind. We've been kind of following them downwind, and it's so epic watching I've kind of been keeping an eye on the two grinders on the front pedestal, and it's really cool watching. Obviously they're working super hard, but like watching them putting all of the power down and then like just seeing the boat charging, it really feels like you're kind of like driving the boat through those guys, through like driving the boat, and you can see the effort going into it. And I think that's pretty cool to watch.
I think you secretly want to become a grinder, Katie.
I really do. I'm here for it. I think I need to maybe get slightly bigger arms. But if I keep lifting sails, then maybe that could be my audition.
That could be. You never know. Maybe we'll lose you for Valencia, and you'll be recruited. But at the moment, I think the jobs are taken on sled, and they seem to be a fantastic job. It's there's a real science and skill to grinding, isn't there? It's not just about being big and strong, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I watch a lot of the onboard videos and the gladiator debriefs and stuff like that, and it is very much not just someone on a pedestal using their arms. There is a lot of they have buttons on the floor, for example, which engage and disengage different pedestals, different winches, different gears, and it's kind of having to manage all of that and manage the timings of things like that. But also they kind of have a bit of a bird's eye, a bit of a kind of overall view of what's going on as well. So quite often if something's going a bit wrong or about to go wrong on the boat, quite often it's the grinders that are the ones that kind of jump in and kind of save the day, let off the vang, or like grab a sheet, put a wrap on a winch that needs doing. So they're kind of not only there to put the power down, but they are also kind of MVPs a lot of the time in fighting fires and kind of just making sure that everything around them is kind of running smoothly as well.
And under control, Vayu going a big lefty down this final run. Don't think it's doing them any good at the moment, Robbie. Crioula in our foreground.
Yeah, interesting to see. I think Vayu just throwing a punt out to that right-hand side after rounding in not such a sharp position on the top mark. So just a jibe set for them, and they've just continued the whole way down. Obviously doing the least manoeuvres, but we'll see how that side sort of shakes out.
It's amazing, isn't it? Crioula and sled on the seesaw. Trinity Racing dropping from contention for the podium. I mean, it's just fantastic for the Brazilian team. Really didn't start either of today's races well, but they're sticking to their strategy, Katie, aren't they?
Yeah, is this Trinity, sorry, that you're talking about?
No, I was talking about Crioula. They're sticking to their strategy. Gladiator have lost their kite. They may be going to do a turn. I'm not sure. I can't see why they would be dropping the kite into the boat. Yeah,
that's right. That it sort of looked like a controlled drop as well. It's sort of, it's not what you'd do if you were in a rush or in a panic. So I'm not too sure what's going on there, but they've definitely slowed up a lot and put the kite away. Potentially doing that turn like you mentioned, Andy.
Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? That's going to be expensive. That is
more penalties.
Unfortunately, to the detriment of Gladiator, but it is to the advantage of Crioula.
Yeah, I wonder what their penalty count is for this regatta. So, yeah, obviously tough for those guys, and they have to go for a rehoist as well. It's one thing to do it on a sort of upwind, but then to have to drop the kite, do the spin, and then put it back up, it's a real tough manoeuvre to do.
So I think there was a bit of a situation now coming together with Crioula, potentially at the weather mark or just coming away from it. But in the meantime, Crioula sitting reasonably solid in fourth place in this race. Third overall, they have Trinity 2 boats behind. So Trinity need to be taking a couple of boats before the finish line, but there's still a lot of racing to go. No advantage or no advance yet for Vayu over on that left side. Trinity away out on the left. Sled comfortably ahead. There's your projected points standings. at the end of the regatta, if positions stay the same, it would be Platoon Aviation 32, 57 for Provezza. Crioula only 2 points away from second. Still a lot could happen. The only thing that can't be displaced is Platoon Aviation winning this regatta. Anyway, massive credit to the sled team. They've regrouped after their overnight damage and they put the hammer down, got a great start. And that's a pretty sizable lead at the moment, Robbie, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, they sort of just got away early, sailed really, really smart on sort of that middle of that first beat. Just really controlling or putting their boat in a controlling position at every sort of intersection, every point of that upwind, and doing a nice job of sort of extending on this downwind. Obviously, to the benefit of them is that they do have Alkedo, Setelar, and No Way Back sort of battling it out together, so they're slowing up a little bit. But Sled really doing a nice job to run away and do all they can for this last race.
So lots happening. Allegra made a nice advance down the middle leftish. Got some pressure coming in on fourth for the moment, potentially sailing round the boats in the middle of the course. You can just see them there with the blue leading edge of the kite, and they've got pressure behind them. Actually, Trinity are going to come down with that pressure. That's why they've been over there. I've seen it many, many times at this regatta. Sled, I think, pretty much sailing fairly conservatively down this run, leading and just keeping a loose cover, an eye on the boats behind, staying in phase with the boats behind. Alkedo immediately behind them, then No Way Back. Allegra up to fourth.
Yeah, Alkedo doing a good job of just sort of extending on No Way Back, didn't they? They were very tight around that first windward mark, and looks like they've just been able to sort of sail away a wee bit.
Anyway, everything's settled and prepared for this drop at this leeward gate. Sled would love to finish and are on course to finish with that race win. Good drop.
Yeah, easy enough for the boys there. That nice timing to do it. It's sort of in the middle of those gates, and they're running with their swell into a right turn. So beautiful drop and gate choice from Team Sled.
They have Alkedo coming round in second, although No Way Back behind have got a little bit of pressure and an angle to come up, sailing slightly quicker. They're closing distance all the time on Alkedo Setelar. They can be in contention up this second beat.
That's beautiful, isn't it? A really nice drop from Alkedo. I was almost going to think that they were doing it quite late, but far out, that wasn't away in too many seconds, that one.
They are one of the most practiced teams. They were certainly out practicing early on before Easter, around about Easter, and really made their practice count. And actually now there's quite a big gap between third placed No Way Back and the fourth place boat.
Yeah, Crioula there. So yeah, it's still up in fourth, and I think they're going to have a little battle with Trinity. But yeah, you mentioned the gap between them. Those front boats sort of getting away nicely, and I think Crioula are just going to lead this next pack, Andy.
They are. They're just going to have to go behind No Way Back as they come in here. And that's it's a few big waves there for them. Not quite sure where they're dropping or just lost their kite. They're just going to protect against Trinity. You can see them working hard. They've got Trinity going round the outside, but they have the mark room. Trinity having to go wide, but Crioula are slowed, and it's a long way round for Trinity. They may even lose Vayu. We're going for a flag, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, potentially they didn't think that they had enough room given to them by Trinity, but yeah, interesting to see a flag on board there. They were quite tight.
Certainly they're quite irate about that. Not for us to judge, but Trinity certainly went round wide. I don't think it was like the Trinity didn't give them mark room. Anyway, Platoon Aviation a little bit slowed there in the wake of
Vayu there. So yeah, I think Platoon
on the other mark. I think we're seeing a penalty to Provezza, which is going to be expensive for them, considering they are behind Crioula. and deep. They're going to potentially lose another couple of places, but anyway, we'll see. They're going to have to take that penalty.
You can just see the swell, can't you? I mean, just a little patch of no or not as much breeze, and you can see it. It's really evident.
It is indeed, and as soon as you get down speed, then the swell really, you don't have enough power to punch through it.
It's total different sort of pictures to what we see at the top mark. But anyways, I think Sled have done a nice job of continuing. Well, they continued on that left-hand side. There's that Prevets penalty.
So there they go into it. They just sail clear of the fleet. They'll just tuck in behind Platoon Aviation and Paprec. So it's expensive for them, but picked their spot. Losing certainly Allegra and Platoon.
Interesting to note, Prevets are still in third place on our live, even though they're all the way back in 12th.
Indeed. Well, they were momentarily, and they just changed there as the points changed. But there you go. Crioula then up to second place. My goodness, just a single point cleared off of Prevets. That would be a fairy tale ending for the team from Brazil. Finished fourth in 2024, missing the podium by 2 points to Phoenix at that time. But Prevets are battlers, as we know from their many years on the circuit. There's still a long way to go in this race, Katie, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we saw positions change so much on the second lap of the last race, and yeah, the top of that. Well, I mean, around the whole course, to be honest with you. I think at the bottom is always super interesting. The boats kind of seem to really compress together when these kind of conditions. They either spread out loads, or there's like suddenly there's massive gaps in the fleet, or suddenly there's no gaps in the fleet, because the splits just create such big opportunities for gains and losses. I think, yeah, that was a really interesting leeward mark for me. We very nearly saw the same thing as we saw the other day with, I think it was Gladiator and maybe Crioula who got pinned out at the leeward mark, like the wrong side of the mark. And we very nearly saw the same thing happen to Platoon on that leeward mark. They just got stuck the wrong side of, I think it was Sled that had come round, and I was kind of like, oh, it's going to happen again. But they managed to go high at just the right time, thread the needle, and managed to get themselves back inside that kind of chain of boats going out that exited the leewards. But yeah, really compressed at the leewards again, and I think still plenty of ups and downs to be had on this upwind.
So there we go. We hear a penalty for Platoon. Now, you could not make it up, really. You couldn't. The regatta winners with a race to spare are lying in 12th place, having taken that penalty. Second place on the regatta standings, Prevets have just taken a penalty, are in 11th place. Meantime, Sled, who had to retire from the race yesterday with damage. Their boat builders working overnight. They'd lost so many places to Platoon over the course of the regatta, are now leading with Platoon Aviation in 12th. You could not make it up, Katie, could you?
No, you really couldn't. And it's, I mean, yeah, for Platoon, I think they're going to be obviously really stoked about this regatta, but it's frustrating thinking of the overall season, the amount of points that are potentially about to be left on the table, or like left on the course. And I think to be making kind of silly mistakes when you're already kind of deep in the fleet, to be
getting penalties, yeah,
making mistakes that are getting you penalties, is every single point is so important. And they're going to be, I actually was wondering before the start, I was kind of like, it's really hard to transition from, oh yeah, like we're super stoked, we've won the regatta with a race to spare, that's so epic, and then it's really hard to then kind of almost stay switched on sometimes, because it's almost like you're a bit of a release of like a bit of adrenaline's kind of lowered a little bit, and it's sometimes hard to switch back on. I mean, they're all professionals, so I say this, and they're all going to probably, if they listen to this, be like, bro, we're not like that. But yeah, I think I really hope for their sake that they can claw back a few points, and really at least if they can chip away a little bit, then they'll hopefully keep the momentum going for the next regatta and not just end on an absolute downer, basically.
Indeed, just watching Crioula just tacking back on port to cross Trinity. They'll just keep a cover on Trinity as best they can for the meantime, but they really would like a boat between them. Maybe Alpha Plus can get through Trinity. That would be to their benefit. There's not too much that Crioula can do. No Way Back are quite a distance ahead, Robbie, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. We mentioned that sort of front pack. The front three have sort of gapped off from the rest of the fleet, so there is quite a distance in between No Way Back and Crioula. But interesting to note, Provezza at the back, they're very close with Gladiator, so that one position change could change things up as well and sort of work in the favour of Provezza. But it is very, very tight. Crioula not managing to, or not able to sort of catch up to that fleet for me, but just doing their best to sort of hang in there and stay in the top.
But it's going to be a kind of bittersweet moment for Platoon Aviation, really, isn't it? They're giving away points, and as we have said so many times, as we all know, the end of the season, it can be down to a point or two here and there, and those points that Platoon have given away in that penalty in these last leg and a half really could bite them in the end. You never know.
Yeah, well, knowing Platoon, I'm sure they won't, stay down, and it is quite close still, so I wouldn't expect them to sort of end up there at the end of this race. But yeah, they're sort of all going Sled's way, especially in this race, and a lot of points. I mean, it would really make the season standings really close going into Valencia.
Anyway, let's look, if we could, at the projected points standings just to see how close it is between Provezza and Platoon. Sorry, Provezza and Crioula. Actually, it's on. There's a point. They're on even points just now. So that's interesting. For me, counting back would be on who well, actually, counting back will be who's got most firsts and best results. At the moment, Provezza would win there because they have 2 firsts and have beaten Crioula more times. But then it would go down to the last race. So it's all on counting back for the moment. Provezza need a place. Crioula need a place. But here we go, on board with Provezza, not having their best race, not having the best finish of the week by any stretch of imagination. And so too, you can say, for Platoon Aviation. Sled finishing strong, Alkedo finishing strong. Alkedo, of course, were at the bottom of the table in 12th. And even a second is not going to pull them any higher up the standings.
Yeah, nice to see them up the front of the pack, though, them and No Way Back. I mean, we obviously expect, or, they've given us the expectation that they'll be sailing at the top of the fleet, and potentially they haven't done that throughout this regatta, but it's nice to see them up at the top end in this last race. And even today, I mean, they had a really nice race in that first one, didn't they?
They did indeed, but Platoon Aviation are quite close now with Provezza. Platoon on starboard, Provezza coming across on port. Platoon will just tack them. We're going to end up with a little match race between the top 2 boats in the regatta.
Yeah, interesting to see that, to be honest. I mean, it looked quite close between Provezza and Platoon obviously deeming that they have enough room to tack. Obviously they were on starboard, so they had the rights, but they obviously want to get out to this right-hand side as we go up to the top. I think most of their competitors or everyone else in the fleet is out that left-hand side, so just doing something different, I think, Andy.
Anyway, not the way Platoon and Provezza would want to finish the regatta. Platoon seemed to be just about through Provezza. And that would drop Provezza, of course, to 3rd overall in the standings. Crioula would get 2nd. So that little match race between the top 2 boats, well, the erstwhile top 2 boats, would really, it's swinging in Crioula's favour. Obviously, Crioula can protect against Trinity, but look at that, No Way Back are more than 230 metres ahead. So the Brazilians really hanging in there nicely. We've got half a beat and a run to go. In the meantime, I'm going to just take a quick moment. This is it's a long season for our pro sailors, and we're coming into September, one of the busiest points. It means there's sailors spend a long time away from home. So I'm going to give a quick shout out to the families of the sailors who are watching us watching our lives, in particular some of the sailors families down in New Zealand. I know that John Cutler's mum at the age of 90 is up at 2 o'clock in the morning cheering John and the Preveza team on. So a big shout out to them, and indeed all the sailors families. This is their connection with their sport and with their families, and so a quick shout out for them. Thank you so much for all the support, and hopefully Preveza can come away with a second. But anyway, Crioula, it's nip and tuck, isn't it? It's Crioula back in third just now, Preveza in second.
Yeah,
it's all about this final upwind and the last run, Katie.
Yeah, for sure, and it's kind of, you can see throughout the fleet as well, there's kind of boats are bouncing off each other, bouncing tacks off each other. It's definitely getting kind of, this is the nitty gritty. The teams know exactly what they need to be getting. They know exactly where their competitors are going to need to be for the podium places, and it's going to be about kind of keeping it cool, not doing anything too crazy, and just really chipping away and trying to get yourself where you need to be. But we've got a lot of the fleet out on this left-hand side again, seem to be favouring that. Sled looking like they're actually already tacked onto that starboard lay. They've really managed to extend their lead. I think this is just a case of they're able to be out in front, make their own decisions, and not engaging with anyone else. You've got No Way Back and Alkedo kind of in second and third. They've kind of probably slowing each other up a little bit because they're kind of jostling a bit, and they're battling it out, allowing Sled to just kind of run away with it a bit, which we know that they are very, very good at doing because they have got some very good pace in these conditions, well, and all conditions. But yeah, all things going well. It looks like Sled's going to have a real good race and take a lot of confidence away from this towards the next event, which will decide who is the real winner, the overall winner.
We'll come to that in a minute, Katie, but you would not have bet against Sled coming into this regatta, but now it's much, much open. But anyway, Sled round the final windward mark here in Lanzarote for the last time. Sled leading, Alkedo, Settler. Maybe that's part of the reason they've been so deep in the fleet, the change of name. But anyway, the round in second, and they will go to Valencia with a little bit of confidence restored. And No Way Back round in third, and a little bit of a gap back to Crioula.
Yeah, I think a big one for me, Andy, a big potential mover could be Trinity. You know, obviously they have Crioula in front of them, but I think that could, you know, this downwind run could really be a chance for them just to gain another place, and just really, you know, sort of be in that hunt again for the podium. I don't think they're fully out of it. Obviously, they are still behind their main competitor for the podium, but yeah, I'm really interested to see. Just going to glue myself to the scoreboard and just see sort of how it's sort of changing up. It is really, really exciting.
But actually, Alpha Plus coming in here on port, they could still have their say in that battle.
Yeah,
they're going to have a little tack behind, I think.
Yeah,
it's going to be super close down that final run.
Nice sort of left-hander as they came up into this top mark. So I think the race course is sort of squaring up a bit more, which is good to see. You see Vayu come through a little bit, just picking off a place up this beat as well. So boats on the left profiting a little bit more than potentially what we've seen earlier.
So Trinity round Alpha Plus next, then Vayu. Oh, sorry, Allegra it is. Allegra can have there or thereabouts. Then it's Vayu in seventh.
Tough thing for Preveza, Andy, is obviously you want to, you know, work your way up the fleet, but the people that they have to beat are Platoon, who have, you know, obviously been our standouts. So not only do they need to try to get a point back, but they need to try to get their point back from the regatta leader.
Well, that's it. It's what do they do in the final run? Do you throw a six and try and make some bigger gains, or just try and stay ahead of Preveza?
Yeah, well, personally, I would say they sort of keep in touch with Platoon. I'd expect Platoon to sort of, go off and throw what they can at this fleet just to really try change things up. I don't think they have much to lose in this race specifically. And then if you're Preveza, you're just trying to sail more conservatively, I'd say.
So anyway, Platoon potentially heading for their worst score. I think their only double-digit score of the regatta so far. They had a pair of sixth, always then in the top half of the fleet until this race. But it's amazing how things just kind of domino out of control, Katie, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's a tricky one, and it's tough to watch the likes of Platoon and Preveza at the back. I think echoing what Robbie was saying, I think he was kind of spot on in terms of what I would do as well. If I was Platoon, you've got one place to lose. You don't have anything to lose in the regatta, but overall standings, I'd be probably thinking about throwing the dice and really trying to gain back as many points as possible. Whereas Preveza, I think they just need to kind of stay in touch and gain a place. It looks like they've both kind of gone for the split. Platoon opting to hold on, Preveza gone for the jibe out, probably to try and make that jump on Platoon. But we'll have to see kind of what happens. There's still plenty of definitely still up and down breeze out here, but maybe a little bit more settled in terms of direction, but there's still holes.
Yeah, we're just watching Paprec there with a big twist in their kite, letting Preveza catch up a matter of a few meters there. And it's super close now between Preveza and Paprec. That could make the difference. There you go, Paprec. Preveza getting through Paprec because of that twist in the kite. That gives Preveza back up into second place. Crioula dropping to third through no fault of their own immediately. They're sailing as fast and as directly as they can towards the finish line. They're under pressure with Trinity on their weather hip. Trinity trying to get down inside them. They have pressure. They're going a little bit faster now. Crioula in the same strand of breeze. They've also got Alpha Plus, I think it is, going down inside them in this strong pressure. Way out on that left side now, Platoon Aviation pushing hard.
Really is amazing to see.
Paprec are back through Preveza. Remember, Paprec are the team with the fast downwind speed in the stronger breeze. So it's going to be a great duel between Paprec and Preveza. Potentially Paprec dictating whether Preveza finish third or second. Nothing much that Crioula can do coming down this final run. They're just holding on as best they can. They've got Trinity Racing on their weather hip, trying to get round them. But in the meantime, it is Sled, the world champions, heading towards the victory in the final race here in Puerto Calero. A little bit to go, just momentarily slowed. They're picking up a wave and a little bit of a puff as they go through their jibe. Alkedo coming in with pressure, charging down as Sled go through their jibe. Alkedo are on the edge of this new gust coming down, closing the gap fairly quickly on Sled. Sled accelerating now, and No Way Back have got the gust as well. They're going really well at the moment. In the meantime, Preveza still 12th, Paprec in 11th. That battle going on behind. At the moment, Crioula still in second. That's our main focus. Sled running away with the win for the moment. Not too far to go, Katie, is there?
No, definitely not, especially for the likes of Sled and Alkedo and No Way Back. They're kind of a little bit of a gap behind them. They're kind of getting towards the last third of this downwind, trying to line themselves up for this finish line. Alkedo done a really nice job of kind of closing the gap on Sled. It actually is kind of, it's getting a bit tighter. Again, little gap back to No Way Back, and as you were saying, Crioula really just needs to kind of hang on in there, and they've got a bit on to be able to catch No Way Back, but they are being very, very heavily chased by Alpha Plus, and they really cannot afford to be losing that place. And also, if they engage in a battle with them, then they may end up losing even more places to boats around them. So they really need to be able to manage this last third of this downwind super well, and they're going to be comms are going to be firing everyone's going to be working at max chat to try and get the most out of the boat. And yeah, we'll see what they can do.
That's amazing because Alpha Plus have got through, or had got through Trinity, but it's super close between them. I think this is, and Alpha Plus are on the hip of Crioula, potentially rolling over the top of them. This is a painful moment for Crioula. Trinity Racing actually moving up to third just now. This is really tough for the Brazilian team. Just getting rolled or potentially rolled by Alpha Plus. They're trying to get the bow down and into the pressure, being blanketed by Alpha Plus for the moment. In the meantime, Trinity going round the outside now to their right, going faster with a faster angle towards the finish line. So Trinity up to fourth for the moment. Trinity in third, potentially stealing the podium from Crioula in the final vestiges of this final race here in Puerto Calero.
Well, it just really keeps jumping around, doesn't it, Andy? Just as we talk about it. I mean, Crioula, tough spot. They've really got Alpha Plus really trying to fight and try to get on their breeze to you know, sort of take them a position back. But then Trinity, amazing to come through and sort of, you know, have that podium spot momentarily. Now it's back with Crioula. Preveza still trying to, they've just jumped over Paprec. This is, wow, I mean, just going up and down. It's almost glitching on the scoreboard there.
Indeed, watching Alkedo. Alkedo have rolled over the top of Sled. Remember, the Sled's lead before was about 100 metres or so. Now Alkedo coming down with the pressure. They've been so quick in some of the runs, made their own choices a little bit quicker than Sled for the moment. Now by no way back, are pushing hard behind. The race is not over. They're really, really close to Sled behind. And this is going to be interesting watching. Alpha Plus have got themselves into contention. Just now Crioula are getting third and Trinity missing out and would end up in fourth. Preveza in second. It's going to be all about who gets through the line and what position coming through the finish. It's going to be a final race win, I think, potentially for Alkedo. Alkedo still need to lead in with the jibe, but Sled jibe inside them. This could be Sled's winning move, a slightly better jibe.
Yeah, I like where Sled are, Andy.
To get the kite filling, and actually it's between them. Alkedo accelerating now. Alkedo, I think, are just going to get there. And no more stealing the win from Sled.
Wow.
And then it's going to be very close behind. Now then, no way back, a little bit slow, sailing directly towards the finish line. Crioula need to make a solid jibe now. They are under pressure from two sides, from Trinity on the right and Alpha Plus. But this could be the difference between a podium and not for Crioula. Trinity, I think, maybe just be able to get there, but no, Crioula are on course coming through. They'll just pip Trinity on the line, so good work from the Brazilians. And then Trinity coming through, they will pip Alpha Plus.
Well, really nice from Crioula just to hold off that attack from Alpha Plus. It's amazing to see how much distance they got away from them. Really key to get in front of not only Trinity, but we'll see how sort of Preveza come down on this final as well, because that will determine the points.
So Alpha Plus come through next, and Alegre on a bit of a charge coming down the left side. They are head-to-head with Vayu, isn't it? And I think Alegre will get there. Just watching to see how Preveza are doing relative to Platoon. Robbie?
Well, it looks like Platoon have just sort of broken away and they're actually up into 9th place, so they should be coming onto screen soon. They're just behind Vayu, and I think Preveza's one of the losers out of this downwind. They're very tight with Paprec. They're both on that ley line on port, and I think they're sort of just following Paprec in, so potentially a back-of-the-pack finish for Preveza.
Indeed, anyway, Platoon Aviation coming through next. Still waiting to do the numbers and find out whether Crioula have finished on the podium. Platoon Aviation, then disappointing way to finish their 4th Royal Cup victory. And Gladiator coming in not too far behind. But the fleet in the end separated quite significantly in the final places. So Platoon get 9th. Gladiator get 10th, And Platoon are very disappointed with the way things have gone. I think it's a kind of disappointment for them. Just to see a little bit of a quick debrief between Vasco and Jordi, just talking about the finer points of that. So anyway, Javier de la Plaza there congratulating Harm, just saying, look, come on, let's settle down. We've won this regatta.
Yeah, really cool to see. Just sort of, have taken it in perspective. Another Royal Cup for them. So, no, they definitely deserve the spoils this evening, and, definitely deserve the smile on their faces on some of them, at least.
Vasco's not, it's just a discussion about how things got a little bit out of control and how they're coming together. Anyway, they need to have that discussion. As I say, it's not just about winning the Puerto Calero Lanzarote 52 Super Series Royal Cup. It's about points going ahead into the last regatta of the season. Particularly, as I say, because so many times we see the final championship title going to a point here and there, and these points lost today could yet be critical. So I think Preveza then, I think they'll be a little bit disappointed similarly. Things got out of control for them, Katie, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be pretty disappointed with that. They would have given it their all, trying to come back, trying to gain a place, but I think the race just kind of sailed away from them a little bit, which is always really frustrating, especially when you're kind of so close. So it's not necessarily nice to watch the top two teams finishing that last race having a bad one. It almost puts a bit of a downer on it, but epic battles all the way through that race, and they really were kind of fighting to the very end.
So congratulations to Harm Muller-Spreer and the team of Platoon Aviation winning the Royal Cup. I think there's a fair number of guys on that boat who have not won a regatta before, certainly not with Platoon Aviation, so credit to them. But let's look at the final standings here in Puerto Calero for the Royal Cup. Well, there you go. Crioula get to second place, as we thought. Fantastic result for the team from Brazil. Our hearts were in our mouths in the previous race when we thought they had, in fact, the start of both races, we thought they were dead and buried, but they have come back, not only come back, but second place for the team from Brazil, and third in the end for Preveza by a single point with that 12th place. So they're going to be disappointed, but on the other hand, it's for Preveza's first podium place as well since back in 2024. So fantastic outcome then for Crioula and Preveza and Platoon. Trinity Racing just missing out by a single point in fourth place. Sled, and there's not much they could do. They could have got to fourth if they had just not lost Alkedo on that final run. So great final finish for Alkedo. So anyway, so Sled get fifth, the Vayu get sixth. They led the regatta at the beginning, no way back. Their second to best score, finishing up the regatta. Alpha Plus in eighth, Paprec in ninth. They were good in the early part of the regatta, but they really have not been able to match their performance from Marina Rubicon. However, ninth, food for thought. Gladiator get 10th. Allegra 11th, and Alkedo Setelar finishing up with a bullet, but finishing up in 12th place. And Teasing Machine, hopefully things will be in great shape for the team from France, and they'll be back fighting in Valencia. But the Royal Cup winners, there's no denying that, and a great result for Platoon Aviation. I say they've been on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster since they lodged that boat. Obviously getting the win in 2024, but it's a sign of intent, Robbie, isn't it? They're coming in with confidence and will be ready to fight in Valencia.
Yeah, they certainly laid down their marker this week. Sailed smart, sailed clean for the most part, and they really got the rewards. It was amazing to see how many double-digit scores there were for all the teams, and to only have one double-digit score, or not even for Team Platoon, got a 9. It's just amazing. That's the only team that didn't have a double-digit score, and they really put a clinic on this week, so they'll be really, really happy, taking all the momentum and the season tally into Valencia.
They came so close to getting a double-digit score, but as ever, they managed to wriggle back a few points down the final run. So credit to them. But Katie, I mean, we're delighted for Crioula, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I loved in the VT when they were kind of talking about the team, and they said they've been together for the best part of 15 years. And they really emphasise fun and family, and I mean, I just absolutely love that. That's the way that I kind of have been sailing in my squads and stuff for the last however many years, and it's just the nicest culture to be in, and I just kind of really, it's really nice to see them being successful while also knowing they're probably having the absolute best time doing it.
I mean, Eduardo, the helmsman, was out last night drinking mojitos and his big trademark cigar. So, and that was last night, the night before taking a second place in the regatta. You wonder what tonight's going to be like, but also credit to Preveza. I mean, Preveza have been through the wars as well. They've struggled and obviously missing Santi Lang, but a podium for Santi, getting third overall. But let's look at the circuit standings as we head to Valencia. We've got a month off and lots of things to think about in the meantime. So in the end, Platoon Aviation will lead towards Valencia with an 11-point lead, unless I'm mistaken. Sled are in second now. They came here with a 17-point lead. Alkedo Setelar 217. They've actually opened quite a gap then, 11 points as well. Isn't it funny how these little bits of symmetry happen? But 11 points as well for Alkedo over Paprec. Trinity Racing charging up the leaderboard in 229. They've got a chance to finish on the podium. You'd imagine certainly that battle with Paprec has swung in Alkedo's favour. No way back in 6, 234, 240 for Alpha Plus, 249 for Preveza. Crioula 260, 280 for Vayu in 10th place, 11th for Allegra and Gladiator in 12th. I say Teasing Machine will be back fighting in Valencia. So what a fantastic regatta. All credit to our podium finishers. All credit to everyone who's contributed to a fantastic regatta here in Puerto Calero. Also to Marina Rubicon. We've had a fantastic time. The breezes have been generally strong and also great to get 10 races in here in Puerto Calero. Thank you so much, Katie, for all your hard work. Great insights on the water. Robbie in the studio. Great stuff. And we will see you in Valencia. Have a great break, and we certainly will. We'll see you then.
Palm Beach Motor Yachts, we build for those who lead. This comes from our history in competitive ocean racing, where advanced technologies and a spirit to win shape our every advantage on the water. We carry those lessons into every motor yacht that we design and build, using efficient and balanced hulls to deliver performance that feels effortless. Paired with meticulous craftsmanship and engineering, it creates a quiet confidence you can sense the moment you take the helm. Palm Beach Motor Yachts, from ocean racing innovation to cruising perfection.
it's different this time. Let's break our hearts for the fun of it. We're looking at dying to run a risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine?
Big smile, a funny face. Storm cloud or a bit of shade. I died of passionately late. Out of my mind, or barely sane. I'm trying to catch a breath, but breathing it in. And drumming out the noise, but it's trickling in. Keep it guessing, I wonder if you know. World going round, I'm letting it spin. Light is coming down and it colors your skin. I'ma take a drive to the unknown. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Oh, wait a minute, now carry on.